First order of business, everybody. We got 1,100 people waiting in the venue already. First order of business, I need everybody, all my VIPs, because it's members only tonight. I need you to hit the thumbs up. I'm hearing Jesse wants 1,000 minimum tonight. Second order of business, I need those ace emojis in the chat. I need to see nothing but a flooding of aces in the chat. Because I'm the fucking ace. I mean, what do you want me to tell you, man? Tonight, we are going to talk about William Regal. William Regal is effectively finished with AEW. Now, this is a bad move. This is a terrible move. Not only is it a terrible move because William Regal brings legitimacy to the show in everything that he does, but man, is it a black eye for the company that William Regal, after 9 months, is gone after a supposed 3-year deal. Rumors are heating up about The Rock possibly winning the Royal Rumble. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. What are we living in? The fucking Stone Age? There's got to be a more creative way to get The Rock, if he's involved with Roman at WrestleMania, without him winning one of the biggest matches of the entire year, coming out of nowhere. I'm going to talk about CM Punk. Apparently he wants to move on to other ventures and leave AEW behind. Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm going to the venue. I got my cold beverage. I hope you guys got yours as well as we cap off another great week. And I got one question for you before we get the hell out of here. What the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking. Guys, thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 455, right here for your December 4th, 2022. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Sunday evenings, wherever you may be. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And the big one we are going to talk about is William Regal, as we have news on his departure. It is all but confirmed. And I say that because he has not shown up on WWE TV yet, but from every outlet that has been reporting this story, William Regal is done. He's finished with AEW, and man, oh man, what a terrible fucking look it is for AEW. They have racked up more L's this year, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm a big fan of what Tony Khan is producing. I want nothing but the best for the company, but haphazard booking decisions throughout most of the year, things that don't make sense, and then this. On top of the Punk situation that happened in September, now you have William Regal out there, and according to some, EC3 regrets even joining AEW because of the laziness and the lack of humbleness coming off of that roster and the management that seemingly doesn't give a shit. It's a bad look. You don't want that shit floating out there. You know, once upon a time, AEW was the place to be. AEW now is the place that people are trying to actively avoid. Now, AEW is the place that houses people that want out. They want out of their lease. Maybe Tony Khan shouldn't be fucking hiring people that are close to Triple H anymore. That would be a great start. I don't really understand everybody bringing, Tony Khan bringing everybody from NXT and all these people from, Triple H's fucking learning tree into the company. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? As soon as that man took charge of WWE, people were already thinking, well, shit, how much time do I have on my contract? It's not a good look. Not a good look. If William Regal A man of honor and a man of fucking, of his status does not want to be there. What the fuck does that say about the company? Holy shit. Is the Triple H effect stronger than ever, man? And I'm not even talking about the lifelong ties that William Regal and Triple H have. I'm not. That's not even anything to do with what's going on here. That's something that you knew was an inevitability. But when William Regal is out there, you know, in AEW, and he's doing these great things, and he's making television better with every appearance that he's on, and he helps MJF win the World Championship, and then he's gone to go back to WWE. What the fuck does that say about AEW, man? They don't stand a fucking chance against Triple H. Nobody wants to work for Tony Khan. Everybody wants to go work for Triple H. It's going to be a long, hard road in this wrestling realm for TK, man. You're not going to get one over on Paul Levesque. Dwayne Johnson. We're going to talk about that as well. Apparently there are rumors, and this is all that it is right now. We don't know anything else. There are rumors out there that Dwayne Johnson may be the number 30 participant. So fucking lame. So lazy, man. Yeah, The Rock is going to be in the Royal Rumble. We'll just put him in at number 30, man, just like everybody else. You know, it's so fucking stupid. The Rock winning the Royal Rumble from the number 30 position and challenging Roman Reigns for the World Championship at WrestleMania. All right, so what is the Elimination Chamber going to be used for? That's what I want to know. There are a couple of things that we could do. There are a couple of things that we can do inside the Elimination Chamber. And there's a couple of things that we could do for the Royal Rumble. I'm going to go over most of them. Whichever you think is best, maybe we'll talk about why that is the way that WWE should go about it. But having The Rock in the Royal Rumble and winning the Royal Rumble is not a great idea. Even though I do think that's what they will probably go with because they want that shock and awe. They want that shock factor for the Royal Rumble, being that in 36 years, this is the biggest Royal Rumble of all time, and it will go down as the biggest Rumble of all time. And then CM Punk, apparently he is finished. He wants out. He wants nothing to do. He wants to move on with future commitments. There's a holdup, though, AEW. They don't want to release him. Apparently the tie-up is in the buyout. He is ready and willing to move on to future projects, whatever those future projects may be. TV shows, Hollywood, comic books, WWE, we don't really know. But he's ready and willing to move on. But the holdup is AEW. I wonder why. You think after seeing all the ratings and all of the lack of interest in the AEW product that Tony Khan is not second-guessing himself about letting CM Punk go? Tony Khan needs CM Punk more than CM Punk needs Tony Khan. We're going to go over all the week's news right here on the podcast, man. It is a busy week. It was a busy week. I would have liked to get a little bit more content out during the week, but I've been in Manhattan. I've been training, and I haven't had a lot of time at home. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm in the city. And then Tuesday and Thursday are the only days I got on top of the live streams during the week, during their usual days. But we're going to wrap up everything tonight in a nice big present with a pretty bow on top, and we're going to get you guys ready for the next week. I appreciate you joining me on the podcast tonight. A couple of things I want to go over, man. A lot of people have asked me for a playlist on Spotify where all the great tunes that I play on the show. That is now linked in the live stream chat at the top. I pinned it right at the top. Go check it out. That is my official Off the Script Bangers playlist. I even added a few goodies in there that I have not played on the show yet that I would absolutely love to play on the show. You will listen to them and know what they are when you hear them. One of them I want to be the official Off the Script theme. I'm just waiting for YouTube to get their fucking Creator Music beta where it needs to be. But go check that out. Also, you have tonight only, man. Lucharillas. Tonight only, and then it is finished. No longer will this be available. Lucharillas and Off the Script collaborated on this great design. You guys get yours today. And everybody else that has already purchased this great design. So those who have purchased and those that are going to purchase within the next few hours, you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a signed t-shirt from one of the Lucha brothers from AEW, and that is Pentagon Jr. So make sure you guys go and get yours today. Lucharillas.com. All you're going to do is type in Off the Script in the search, and then boom, you're going to get yours today, man. So go and support the podcast. Go and support Lucharillas. They've been absolutely fantastic with everything they've done. And that design, man, all hand-drawn. Love it. Go get yours today. Tonight only, and then it's gone. Limited, exclusive, timed merchandise. It's going to be a relic after tonight. Tonight is VIP only, man. We got 2 new members tonight. I want to shout out a couple of my VIPs tonight. We got Ronald Sims in the chat. Thank you, Ronald Sims. Thank you for joining the VIP club, as well as Brandon James Shea, Baby Shaq, Tyler, Michael Evans, and Jedi Joker, man. If you guys want to be a part of this great community, on Sundays we go VIP. If you guys want to chat tonight, you got to become a channel member. Become a VIP right here on Off the Script. You guys get emotes. You guys get badges next to your name to show off your VIP status. It's a great time. And you get live streams on Sunday that are VIP only. You're going to want to be VIP only, man. Let me tell you, you're going to want to be VIP only because when we go underneath the venue, we're going to go right into my mother's basement. It's going to be great. The idea is already out there, man. They're working on it. It's great. I can't wait. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. We just hit 139,000 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate you very much. Make sure you guys go check out all the other videos on the channel. Tonight's show is sponsored by Audible. audibletrial.com/script. 30 days free of their service and 1 free audiobook of your choice. It's a great deal, man. Everybody loves something for free. audibletrial.com/script. Yeah, members only. The mods love members only as well, man. It's easy. They don't have to deal with the fucking bullshit with the trolls coming in here. It's great. Let's start at the top, man. We're going to start off with some Survivor Series news and notes, and then we'll get into the good stuff. But I want to talk about some of the things that happened coming out of Survivor Series in case you missed anything that I talked about earlier in the week. We have news on Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens coming out of Survivor Series. Apparently, there was a heated argument between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens after the Survivor Series War Games match. There was a backstage altercation between the two. Fightful Select has learned that Roman Reigns was visibly upset after the Survivor Series main event, specifically about a spot within the match. Now, the spot within the match, if you guys were watching, was a very, very stiff right hand by Kevin Owens that was not intended to be in the match. Apparently, Roman Reigns, after the match, felt like he had a ruptured eardrum. He went backstage and literally got in KO's face. It was rumored among those that we spoke to, says Fightful, that Reigns took exception to what he perceived as an unplanned spot between he and Kevin Owens. Now, as he walked backstage, he mentioned possibly having a ruptured eardrum and wanted the spot to go as originally planned. The exclamation was said to have been very curse-filled. There was a lot of curse words going around, and it was clear to everyone that Reigns was not very happy. Fightful spoke with a few people, and they didn't believe there would be any extended heat in regards to the situation, and that it seemed more of a heat-of-the-moment type of reaction. But that's only their perception of things. We haven't heard of a physical altercation or argument, and the talent that we heard back from said that they expected the two sides to be able to coexist for work purposes. Can they coexist? Yes, they will be. Another put over both Reigns and Owens as passionate about what they do and figured if there were issues, they'd end up talking about it directly. Wow! Look at that, man. You mean to tell me there's no fistfights backstage, right? There's no people waiting and hiding, waiting for the other party to get to the arena so that they could beat them up. We don't have Paul Levesque acting like a cowardly boss, not getting involved, right? Oh, my goodness, man. AEW can learn a thing or eight. It's great. Reigns did not appear at the post-show press conference after Survivor Series as planned. In his place was Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn. Now, while speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer stated that despite the incident, WWE is still going forward with their plans for Owens and Sami Zayn, rumored to be taking on the Usos at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Championships. Now, during the match, there was a slap that Kevin Owens gave Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had a bruise under his left eye. He may have ruptured an eardrum. There was definitely an eardrum injury. Shit happens in pro wrestling, says Meltzer. Roman Reigns, after, was very upset and was very vehement about it and was yelling about it. What I do know at this point, and probably going forward, everything that has been planned for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is going on exactly as planned. It's not like I'm not going to work with him or them, or management is going to bury him or them. None of that is happening. Kevin Owens beat Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw, whatever the plans are. Barring an injury or a change, everything is going as it is intended to go, end quote. Now, that would be something that would piss off anybody. But there is one solitary real reason why Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens had backstage heat and why there still may be lingering backstage heat between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Now, Meltzer, went deeper into this and said Reigns was furious and backstage went off on Owens with swearing and such. According to numerous sources, Reigns was mad both because of the injury, but also it was a spot he had not known about and felt it didn't make sense to do in the match. Some said it happened. Reigns was obviously furious, but largely blew over in over 20 minutes. Others said that wasn't accurate in the sense it wasn't completely blown over, and Reigns was upset, but it's not like they are changing any plans in booking or he won't work with Owens or there will be any punishment or anything like that. Meltzer additionally added, and I quote, "It fell into the category of shit happens. That is what is going on right now. Shit happens." But the idea was after that, Reigns got overdoing, or Zayn rather, got overdoing what was not supposed to be a long-term gimmick, that Reigns pretty much picked Owens and Zayn personally to work a long-term program with the idea is that he could have picked any two people on the roster to elevate, and those were the men that he hand-chosen to elevate. Zayn got that spot because of how well the crowd took him in the short-term program with Owens. Made sense with their history because he can talk and is a great performer. But there was the idea he didn't have to pick him or either of them, and did, and was mad because something happened that he felt was, going on with his character, and with his character should not have happened, and he also got hurt, presumably. But it is noted that it's not like he was mad to a point of wanting the plans to change. So right now, it is existing. This thing is existing. There is a little animosity there. And it looks like the only thing that happened here was a lack of communication. A lack of communication. You have to understand, Roman Reigns is the leader of that locker room. If you're going to be in anything, first of all, Roman Reigns handpicked Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to work with. He is the boss. He is legitimately the boss of that locker room. He is the final boss in WWE. If he's handpicking you to work with specifically, that holds more weight than anything in this industry, number one. Number two, all he wants is respect. He wants respect in return. And what he feels happened here is that Kevin Owens went into business for himself. I do believe that Kevin Owens is where he is right now because he's one of the more likable guys in the business. And he's a hard fucking working guy, and he's great at what he does. He's multifaceted. He's just great at everything he does. Fans love him in the heat of the moment. And that's exactly what it reads. And that's exactly what I interpret it as from an outside party looking in. When you get in there and you want things to be as great as they can be to sell the story and further the story and add an element of, a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, Kevin Owens probably went into business for himself, and it didn't really work out the way that he wanted. It kind of backfired. If he did not throw the shot as stiff as he did and did not potentially rupture Roman's eardrum, I don't think we'd be talking about this right now. But the fact is, there was a lack of communication. There was a spot in the match that Roman didn't know of. Kevin Owens didn't communicate it with Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens went out there and did it, and then Roman Reigns potentially got injured because of it. It's not a good look. So Roman Reigns clearly upset about what had happened. But the thing is, there were no punches thrown. There were curses thrown around, which is, in any argument, someone's going to raise their voice and throw fucking words around that you normally don't use. Heat of the moment, you're going to show your anger. You're going to show that hostility. But there was no fist fighting. There was no brawl. There was no bloodline and brawling brutes fucking backstage brawl. Legitimately, Paul Levesque didn't stand there like a fucking goofy geek, letting this shit go around. They talked about it like men, and they will continue to talk about it like men. And I'm sure lessons have been learned. And at the end of the day, shit happens. That's all it is. That's all it will amount to. So anybody looking to kind of pry into this and, dig deeper to find something else that might not be there, good luck, because when you dig, you're not going to find anything. Kevin Owens is not going to risk his spot. Kevin Owens finds his home here. Kevin Owens knows exactly what he needs to do as far as how to further a storyline and how to further his career. He's not the guy that's going to go out there and risk his fucking career over a fucking blown spot. But lack of communication is what normally gets a lot of people into trouble. Everybody, you've seen it in AEW. But the one thing that we saw all through that CM Punk situation, even with the Andrade and Eddie King, the Andrade and Sammy Guevara, and the Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston situation, every story had a lack of communication. This was a lack of communication. Just do better next time. Talk about it with Roman and move on. That's all it was. No big deal. Now, Kevin Owens surprisingly went through the match, and there were rumors that he may not even be involved in the War Games leading up to it because of an injury problem. Now, Kevin Owens, there was a scare that he might not be in the War Games match because of ongoing knee issues. Storyline is moving forward. Everything is going according to plan. I would not overwork Kevin Owens to a point where we're going to risk injury. But there was a sprained MCL that happened at a house show, and he was in a match with Austin Theory. Why? I don't know. Owens did rehab on his knee at the Performance Center leading up to Survivor Series. This was a couple of weeks before Survivor Series, and there was talk within the company about whether Owens would be ready in time for Survivor Series. There are long-term plans, as you guys know, for the Bloodline, and certain things need to happen in the story with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that will play out in the coming months. So it is important for him to be healthy for the show and the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber and everything else that's going to happen. Every show leading up to WrestleMania season. Dave Meltzer said the following about KO, and I quote, Owens, his knee held up, but I wasn't sure by the end of the match with Jey Uso. Owens' knee held up, but he's still hurt as well. He got through the match with Uso, and he worked the house show on Sunday, and he worked Raw. He's okay to work, which is really good because 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of concern that he would be out for a while. Luckily, he dodged that bullet. Kevin Owens himself even elaborated on the knee injury. He was on After the Bell with Corey Graves. He was asked about what was going on and how he's coping with the knee injury. KO said this, and I quote, I guess I'm fine. I think. It really changes by the day. You could ask me that question tomorrow, and I'm feeling awful, but today I think I'm okay. But I don't know. I'll get out of my car, and my back could be shot, and I'm not aware of it until I start walking. The last few months have been interesting in that aspect. I wake up fine, but by 2 o'clock, my knees don't work. I don't know. You know what I mean? It really hasn't started hitting me until recently, honest. I'm like, man, just weird aches and pains will come and go. But yeah, at this moment, I'm sitting in my truck. I feel great. My back was really bothering me going into it with Jey Uso on Raw. But then I've had these knee issues the last few weeks. So yeah, I went in feeling pretty beat up, but was just working out really good. And I think everybody really enjoyed the match. So did I. So, it's just a walk from it all with people enjoying what you do. End quote. He needs to take a step back. I love that Kevin Owens wants to go out there and wants to be a huge aspect of the show. But, with him saying that he's got aches and pains and he's got these pains coming and going, I would not overexert Kevin Owens to a point where I'm throwing him out there on a random Monday Night Raw to wrestle Jey Uso, and it means absolutely nothing to the show. I mean, the match was great. They went 22 minutes on Monday, but did we really need Kevin Owens to wrestle 22 minutes on Monday Night Raw after just wrestling in War Games for about 45? I don't think that is a necessity. Do we need him working house shows? Because you know that's where the injury is going to take place. If there is an injury here, it will happen on a house show. Away from TV, away from the cameras, it will happen on a house show. Like the first one with Austin Theory, a match that should never even be. Why are we wasting Kevin Owens on that show with Austin Theory, a fucking house show? Why are we putting this storyline already in harm's way? Why are we jeopardizing this storyline? This is the biggest storyline since probably the Yes Movement. Since Daniel Bryan won the fucking world title at WrestleMania 30, this is the biggest storyline going in pro wrestling right now. And we're about to throw it away because we want Kevin Owens to wrestle a fucking house show against Austin Theory. I know I don't want that. I know you don't want that. Why are we wasting his appearances for? Let the man heal up. One of the top priorities in WWE right now should be to make sure everybody is fucking healthy. Don't do anything to risk their health and find themselves with an unexpected injury that could have been avoided. It's not really what I want to have happen, because if Kevin Owens goes down, all of this storyline goes right out the window with him. Nobody wants that. Major Royal Rumble plans are in the works. Match card is taking shape. This was a big story going around this week, that the Royal Rumble match card is slowly taking shape if you pay close enough attention to Monday night and Friday night. With the Royal Rumble, January 28th will be right around the corner. It's the next big WWE Premium Live event. And this is going to be a breakout party, a coming out party for Triple H, just like War Games was. The bulk of the card has been revealed courtesy of various reports, and it is really looking like Triple H is planning on starting 2023 with an absolute banger. Of course, we got the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches, but outside that, nothing is confirmed. I must say this, nothing is confirmed, but you can see where they're going with some of this stuff. Several reports, mainly from WrestlingNews.co, are reporting the card is now beginning to take shape. Kevin Owens is expected to challenge Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship in the main event. That will be a potential match of the year contender. Of course, their first match was great. Their second match was great. Their third match was great. I thought everything that they did was great. So I love the fact that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are going to be involved again. I thought it was going to be Sheamus coming out of the War Games, but it looks like it's Kevin Owens, as Kevin Owens does fit better into the overall storyline arc of what's going on with Sami Zayn right now, being in the bloodline as Sami Uso, basically. He's on cloud 9 right now. Now, there is a rumor that there will be a Hell in a Cell match at the Royal Rumble. Now, there is two possibilities for this Hell in a Cell match. As we know, Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view is finished. This October, we got no Hell in a Cell. If this was Vince McMahon, Hell in a Cell would have been taking place in October like it was scheduled to take place. But Triple H says, no, I'm getting rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I'm getting rid of most of the gimmick pay-per-views. No TLC in December, as we don't have another pay-per-view until the Royal Rumble. He has gotten rid of, right now, especially this year, I don't know what he's going to do next year, still up in the air, but the TLC pay-per-view, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, finished. Hell in a Cell may be taking place at the Royal Rumble. There are only two possibilities for a Hell in a Cell match. Number one being Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. I could see that being a Hell in a Cell match. I could see Kevin Owens challenging Roman Reigns to a Hell in a Cell to keep the bloodline out, because he has mentioned if it wasn't for your bloodline and it wasn't for Paul Heyman, I would have ended your streak as world champion before it even got started. So I could see that absolutely fitting inside Hell in a Cell. The only other match I could see inside Hell in a Cell is Edge returning to wrestle Finn Balor, and that is it. But I think I'm going to lean more towards the Roman and Kevin Owens match being inside Hell in a Cell. I do think, theoretically thinking, I do think that the champion, especially with Roman Reigns, normally the champion's road to WrestleMania is very easy. They don't really have to do much of anything. They don't have to compete in the Royal Rumble. They should not be competing in the Elimination Chamber. You just show up at WrestleMania. being that Roman Reigns is holding both championships, just theoretically speaking, I think Roman Reigns and his WrestleMania season should be a little bit more difficult than as if he held one championship. He's got 2 championships. So I do think that we should throw him inside Hell in a Cell, and it does make sense with Kevin Owens. But I love the fact that Triple H is potentially using the Hell in a Cell structure to, you guess what, folks? Blow off a fucking feud. Instead of using it as a fucking pay-per-view every single October, I guess it's time for Hell in a Cell because it's Halloween and Hell in a Cell needs to happen. No. I'm glad we may be getting that as a potential blow-off for a feud. And if it is Finn Balor and Edge, that will also be a potential blow-off for their feud as well. Simple. Very simple. It's the way it should be. Ronda Rousey. You guys love Ronda Rousey, right? Ronda Rousey. Nobody wants Ronda Rousey anywhere near WWE anymore. Ronda Rousey is expected to defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez Gonzalez at the pay-per-view. Now, Raquel Rodriguez with Triple H there, you would think that's, he was a big proponent of her getting pushed the way that she was. And when he was there, she was the women's champion, and there were big plans for her down in NXT. Now, as far as the Royal Rumble is concerned, right now, there aren't really any solid confirmation plans on this, but the site is told that Rousey is scheduled to go into WrestleMania as champion, which would suggest that she will retain the belt against Rodriguez at the Royal Rumble. So what are we doing here? Does Ronda and Becky need to happen for the SmackDown Women's Championship? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, if you really want to make a statement, you would have Raquel Rodriguez beat Ronda Rousey with one arm at the Royal Rumble. You want to create new stars, right? Ronda has done nothing to create any new stars while she's been back in this second run. It's been the worst run that I think I could ever conceivably imagine. She sucks. She's done nothing to make the division better. She's done nothing to make the SmackDown Women's Championship better. She's done nothing to make the show better, as everything that she's a part of is fucking ridiculously boring. She's not a good wrestler. She's not a good promo. What the fuck is she even doing there? Why do we need her? You got to squeeze out whatever is remaining in that orange juice, that orange that you got to squeeze. You squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, and there's no more fucking juice to come out of it. You're not making any more juice with this Ronda Rousey run. Get rid of it. You want Ronda to do something worthwhile? Then have her put over Raquel as she's got one arm going into this match. Simple. Simple. Ronda and Becky does not need to happen for a championship. First of all, it doesn't even need to happen, period. If you are one of these people, one of these geeks that wants Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, you're actively calling for a worse WrestleMania than it needs to be. Ronda should be gone before WrestleMania. I don't even know why the fuck we need Ronda for WrestleMania, man. If we're getting Rock, if we're getting Dwayne, what the fuck do we need Ronda Rousey for? If we're getting Stone Cold Steve Austin, what the fuck do we need Ronda Rousey for, man? She's going to be no talk at all around the water cooler. The fuck do we need her? I wouldn't want her. Get rid of her. Get her out. So that is the rumored SmackDown Women's Championship match, as you guys have seen on SmackDown, as Raquel is playing up that injured arm, still somehow smiling through it. Raquel Rodriguez with her smiles still hasn't gone away. Now, we also have news on the first ever potential pitch black match that may be taking place between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Now, no word on the details of this match, as it is only an idea, but this realistically may be Bray's first match since returning to WWE. Fail. That's an automatic fail. This man returned in October, and we're not going to have him wrestle till the end of fucking January? How many promos do we need before we get this guy back in the ring? Now, I'm not saying that it needs to happen on a SmackDown. I'm not needing it to be on a Monday Night Raw. But, I mean, we're going to wait till the end of January to get Bray. How many more creepy, spooky promos and vignettes do we need to see before we get this guy back in the ring? And what the fuck is a pitch black match? Could be anything. It could be literally lights out, no lights in the arena. It could be a lights out match in the way AEW does a lights out match, where it's unsanctioned and it's not really approved by WWE management. I could see that. Or it could be a blindfold match. It could be a blindfold match like Rick the Model Martel and Jake the Snake Roberts way back in the day at WrestleMania. I could see something like that happen. I don't know who's going to be interested in seeing two guys roam around the fucking ring and try and fight them, or fight each other in blindfolds, but it's a possibility. I don't know. This is all a possible Bray Wyatt idea, but outside of this being a possible Bray Wyatt idea, I said this earlier in the week, do we really need these gimmicks for Bray Wyatt? You know, the first go-around, and I'm not talking about merch, and I'm not talking about him selling fucking masks to the kiddies during Halloween and how many t-shirts he sold and how many fucking dolls Alexa Bliss sold. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about creativity. I'm talking about creative. Outside of all the fucking hoopla, the gimmicks and the fire and the magic and the spookiness and the puppets and all this other shit, what did Bray Wyatt amount to in WWE? Nothing. Outside of all the fucking smoke and mirrors, Bray Wyatt was just Bray Wyatt. Nothing behind Bray Wyatt. He was built around everything else but him. That's not what Bray Wyatt was when he was the Eater of Worlds. Bray Wyatt came, he spoke, he made you fucking listen and pay attention, and then he got in the ring and he fucking wrestled. That's what Bray Wyatt did. Could that have been better? Absolutely. I mean, they even fucked that up. This guy has been fucked over time and time and time again. But I've been saying that Bray Wyatt is best when there is a simplistic approach to Bray Wyatt. A stripped-down version of Bray Wyatt, away from the fun house and the masks and the puppets and the fucking spooky magic and all this other shit. I want to see Wyndham. I want to see Bray. It's all right if we get Wyndham. It's all right if we get Bray in a mask. I just want to see him fucking wrestle. I don't want him wrestling in red light. I don't want him having supernatural powers. I don't want him impervious to pain. I don't want him fucking setting people on fire. I don't want none of that shit. It's lame. We're adults. I want to watch an adult-orientated program. I don't want to watch Alexa Bliss fucking summoning fireballs at Randy Orton, and then if that doesn't work, fucking lighting fixtures falling down from the fucking arena. I don't want that. Lame. Lame. This isn't fucking Harry Potter, okay? This isn't a video game. The stripped down version of Bray Wyatt is the best version of Bray Wyatt. Once you start adventuring into this wacky shit, you're automatically you're just going back and making the same mistake all over again with Bray Wyatt. So people got turned off about him the first fucking time. We don't need none of that shit. It worked when we were children watching The Undertaker sit up and raise up because of the power of the urn. Nobody wants to see this shit now. Just give me Bray. That's all we need. Put him out there with a microphone. Put him out there in a wrestling ring. Turn the fucking lights on and have them wrestle. It's the best way Bray Wyatt needs to be portrayed. The Rock. This was the big story going around this week, man. Dwayne The Rock Johnson at the Royal Rumble. I don't like it. I don't like it. WWE are hoping for The Rock to return in a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. This has been very well documented over the last few years. If you guys watch Young Rock, it's even been teased on Young Rock. They don't put anything in that show. They don't do anything in Hollywood without predictive programming. They're going to let you know what they're up to. Many feel WrestleMania 39 next year in Los Angeles is a real possibility for The Rock and Roman. The company would get a ton of publicity by having the former WWE champion Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson back for one more match, which would likely be his retirement match. Triple H is looking to make a statement at the Royal Rumble. His first Royal Rumble as head of creative. You know it will be a big statement show. The event has broken the record already for the largest gate for a Royal Rumble in company history for the Royal Rumble. There has been speculation about The Rock making an appearance at the Royal Rumble with the idea that it would kick off the storyline that would lead to a match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that the idea has been discussed within WWE. Meltzer says, and I quote, "The idea was being talked about behind the scenes, but as best we can tell, while rumors certainly exist within the company, as far as those who would be in a position to know, there is no real answer. If Johnson wants to do it and can be sold on the idea, it would be the most perfect scenario for the company." I'm going to stop there. You know, there are a couple people online that may not want to see this match and may not care for The Rock at WrestleMania and would rather see somebody else in that spot like a Cody or a Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's name has gained a lot of traction for being a potential opponent against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Cody is my pick. Cody has been my pick for months to wrestle Roman at WrestleMania. Will I get what I want? I don't know. Will Cody get his moment at WrestleMania, which I do think is the perfect moment for him and what he wants to achieve? Yes. I do think that is the perfect moment. Do I think we'll get it? Probably not. I don't think we're going to get that. It's in the grand scheme of things, not the most important thing that's on the table for WWE. They realize that they have a very, very, very small window for Roman Reigns and The Rock. And this is what it needs to be this year. If they don't do it next year, 40, I mean, it's a possibility. It's a nice round number. It's a landmark event. But that only means Roman has to hold the championship for another fucking year. That only means The Rock is going to be another year older. We need to conclude this storyline before it eventually runs out of gas. The Tribal Chief storyline, the head of the table storyline, was always, always, always meant to be a conclusion with The Rock challenging Roman Reigns. Now, you may not want this match. You may want this all to end with the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. I get it. I completely understand. But this is the biggest money match that WrestleMania could possibly ever see. Ever. This is going to serve as the retirement for The Rock. This is going to serve as the conclusion of a storyline that's been building for the last 2.5 years. And it's already going to take place in the biggest stadium that WrestleMania has ever held an event, at SoFi Stadium. This will be the biggest match that WWE puts on ever. Ever. And I'm confident in saying that. This will generate buzz like you would not believe for the company. The Rock is the biggest Hollywood actor in Hollywood right now. That's what WWE is looking for. Him wrestling his last match from where he came before he went Hollywood at WrestleMania in Hollywood. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for it not to happen. Now, I get nobody wants Rock to win the Royal Rumble. I don't want Rock to win the Royal Rumble. I don't. It's lame. The idea right now is Rock would be number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Now, the report states that the only thing that sources are being told is close to being finalized for the WrestleMania main event. It needs to be locked in by mid-January. So Meltzer says plans for WrestleMania need to be locked in by mid-January. And if The Rock wants to do the match, then he needs to let the company know by that date. So theoretically, he has a little over a month to let the WWE know that he's going to be working WrestleMania. Then plans will be in motion. The report also added, originally the belief was that if his schedule allowed it, Johnson would like to do his last match at Mania with Roman, who is a family member. This has been talked about for years, and Johnson wanted it in Los Angeles if he could do it. We're getting it next year. WWE previously talked about doing Rock vs. Reigns at WrestleMania in Dallas, but Rock was more interested in doing the match in Los Angeles, so they went with Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns instead. As of this writing, there's nothing official about the idea of Rock being a surprise entrant in the Men's Royal Rumble as the number 30 entrant and winning the match right now, past it being just a rumor. The Rock hasn't wrestled a full match since dropping the WWE Championship to John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 39 in 2013. Oh, my goodness. It will be 10 years to the day, 10 years to the event. Not to the day, but to the event that he would be in a WWE ring since he was in one last. The Rock should not be number 30 inside the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. That is an awful idea. Whoever wants The Rock to win the Royal Rumble, you're just asking for negative backlash. You're asking for negative backlash. This match happens once, I'm tired. I'm honestly, as a fan, I'm tired of the Royal Rumble being treated like fucking garbage. I am. Such lackadaisical, nonsensical fucking... There's no care. It's just carelessness for the Royal Rumble. Why? Yes, we're going to have this match happen once a year, and it's the very fucking reason that we get a WrestleMania main event. Yeah, let's just give it to The Rock. Hasn't been there all year. Guys look forward to this shit all fucking year to be in the Royal Rumble and make a name for themselves to win it, and you're going to give it to The Rock. Does The Rock need to fucking win the Royal Rumble to act for a title match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Of course he fucking doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. So why are we going to do it? So many times I've sat there on the fucking comfort of my own couch watching number 30 hit and that buzzer go off. Brock Lesnar. How many times do we see somebody like that come out in the end and win Ronda Rousey? Are you fucking serious? It is lazy. We did this with Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble. Why do we need to do it again the next year with The Rock? I don't get it. The Royal Rumble deserves a lot better. It does. It certainly does. I'm tired of the Royal Rumble being treated as a fucking afterthought, as a foundation that everybody else works on, only to give it to somebody that wants to show up, wrestle for 3 minutes, show up at number 30, get himself a couple of eliminations, and then win the fucking thing in about 5 minutes. I'm not here for that. What do we do? How many ideas are out there for the Royal Rumble and the outcome of the Royal Rumble? Because I know for a fact that WWE is thinking about The Rock winning the Royal Rumble, but that's not the only idea. You can't attack creatively with that being the lead idea. That goes to show me you're not even fucking trying. Now, there are other ideas out there. First of all, we don't even know if Roman Reigns is getting 1 match or 2 matches at WrestleMania. I don't even want to bring that to the table as a possible option because no matter what happens, it will be a situation where Roman Reigns is not going to lose going into WrestleMania because that's the big holdup. If WWE is doing Rock and Roman is not losing before he gets in the ring and that bell rings against Dwayne. He's not losing. So a 2-match main event for Roman on Saturday and Sunday against Cody on Saturday and then Roman and Rock on Sunday, not going to work out that way. Why would WWE want Roman to lose to Cody before he eventually wrestles The Rock? I just don't see that being the case. I don't see it. Unless they switch it. Unless they do Rock and Roman on Saturday, and then they do Roman and Cody on Sunday. But I also can't see that because theoretically I see them thinking that Sunday is the biggest night for the show. But is it really? Is Sunday night the biggest night for WrestleMania? Is Sunday night the last night the biggest night for WrestleMania? I don't even think so. Why would it be? Answer that question. Why would Sunday night be the biggest night for WrestleMania when WWE has conditioned its fans right now where all of their pay-per-views happen on a Saturday? Royal Rumble's happening on a Saturday. Every pay-per-view that we've seen has been moved from Sunday to Saturday. So WWE has conditioned us fans to think that pay-per-views are bigger on Saturday. They are premium live events on Saturday. So maybe we do Rock and Roman on Saturday. Everything big happens on Saturday, right? Saturday night. Saturday night fight night. UFC happens on Saturdays. Big games like that, big fights happen like that on Saturday. What the fuck is playing? What is playing? Do you guys hear this? What is this? You gotta be fucking kidding me. I don't even have that type of music on my goddamn computer. Oh my goodness. What was that? Holy shit. Bro, I got spirits in my fucking room. There's gotta be something going on here, man. I don't know. I have nothing open. I wish I could show you. What's going on with my computer right now, man. I got 3 tabs open. And I got some weird fucking reggae music playing. I don't even have my Spotify. Do I have my Spotify open? No, it's not even open. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. Listen. I don't know what to tell you. Let's get back on track. Get the laughs out of your system. I don't know. My computer's fucking got a mind of its own. WWE has conditioned us to think pay-per-views are bigger on Saturday. So why don't they do Roman and Rock on Saturday and then Cody and Roman on Sunday if they're so anal about Roman losing before going into WrestleMania? At least that way he'd beat Rock and then drop it to Cody, right? But how do we get there? Now, this is all just out loud thinking. This is all just out loud me thinking to you guys. One thing that we could do is have a 1994 issue with the Royal Rumble this year where it could come down to Cody and it could come down to The Rock in the Royal Rumble. And they go into the Royal Rumble. They have a little back and forth like Lex Luger and Bret the Hitman Hart in 1994. And then they end up eliminating themselves from the Royal Rumble. They both go over the top, and we got a flash finish, right? Photo finish. Whose feet hit the ground first? It's going to be a difficult thing to reproduce like they did with Luger and Bret the Hitman Hart. I always thought that Luger's feet hit the fucking floor first, but they wanted us to believe that both of them hit the fucking floor at the same time. But they wanted Luger and Bret in a double main event for WrestleMania. That's theoretically what we could get at WrestleMania this year because WrestleMania is 2 nights. We could get Roman defending one title and Roman defending the other title on Saturday and Sunday. I think that's a great idea. That's just one possibility. WWE really needs to answer the question of, do we want Roman with both championships through WrestleMania? That is the biggest holdup. Because we all know Monday Night Raw needs a major championship back at the top of the card on Monday. We need the WWE Championship back on Monday Night Raw. And I honestly do believe that after WrestleMania, that needs to be a priority. Via a draft, maybe management steps in, and maybe we get a decision made. Enough is enough. We need the world title back on Monday Night Raw. We could use the Royal Rumble to come up with championship match number 1 at WrestleMania for Roman, and we can use the Elimination Chamber for championship match number 2 at WrestleMania. That is also another idea for them to go out there and do. But the easiest thing for them to do is the worst thing for them to do, and that is give The Rock the Royal Rumble. Nobody wants to see that. Unless you want revolt, unless you want an arena filled of negativity, The Rock coming back should be a celebration. We don't want this shit to happen when Roman won the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, when everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win it, and they tried so desperately to get Roman over by giving him the Rumble that they wanted Roman accepted so badly that they sent Dwayne out there to raise his hand, and people were booing, cursing, and throwing trash in the ring to a point where Dwayne was even taken aback by the reaction that Philadelphia gave Roman. Really? He gave you one of those fucking, really looks? Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is supposed to be the guy. I'm here. You think it would be an easy time for Rock to get somebody over? They revolted against Rock. You don't want that to happen. Same thing happened when Batista was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. Remember, before WrestleMania 30, that year, Batista came back and he was slotted by doing nothing to win the Royal Rumble. What happened? What happened? Please, don't do Rock winning the Rumble. Batista came back and won that fucking Rumble, and boom. It was absolutely a disaster. Nobody wanted it. They all wanted something else. They're going to want Sami. They're going to want KO. They're going to want Cody. They're going to want Seth. You're going to throw Rock in there to go out there and win the Rumble over all these other fan favorites that have been there for the entire year, and you're going to expect a positive reaction? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work out in their favor at all. Just look at Batista. He's the best fucking example. Vince wanted Batista and Randy Orton for that WrestleMania, and the fans said, fuck no. Fuck no. We want Bryan in the main event. Where the fuck is he? He eventually found his way in there because there was no way the WWE was going to allow him to sit out of WrestleMania and not be in the main event. So they created the Yes Movement. The whole storyline against Triple H and management. He had to beat Triple H in the opening match, which is one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, to get into the main event. And he beat Batista and Randy Orton. He basically beat Evolution at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. One of the greatest stories that the company's ever told. Why would you want that again on your plate? I don't think Triple H wants that. It's a terrible move. Double elimination would work out. One guy winning the Rumble. I would take The Rock winning the Elimination Chamber. At least at that point, you could do something along the lines of Sami Zayn being in the Elimination Chamber. You could do something along the lines of Roman Reigns sending Sami Zayn into the chamber to stop Dwayne from winning the chamber. Stop him. And then at the end, Rock beats Sami. Rock wins the chamber, gets Roman at WrestleMania. And at the end of that Elimination Chamber, the Bloodline beat down Sami Zayn in Montreal. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. It's a very, very, very sticky situation. The best thing, the most logical thing to do is 2 championship matches. One for the WWE title and one for the Universal Championship. Otherwise, what are we doing? Otherwise, what are we doing? You're basically going to give The Rock the Royal Rumble because there is no other way. He just can't show up and get a fucking championship match at WrestleMania. It defeats the purpose of WrestleMania season and the Royal Rumble existing. If we don't get 2 championship matches, Rock is winning the Royal Rumble. So what does that mean for the Elimination Chamber? That means Roman would have to defend the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. And how do we get Roman Reigns in the Elimination Chamber and finish the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens angle? Is KO going to be in there? Is Sami Zayn going to be in there? Are they both going to be in there to stop Roman? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a very, very sticky situation for WWE. It's either Rock wins the Rumble and there's backlash, or we get 2 championship matches. How do we go about getting 2 championship matches? But giving him the Royal Rumble should not be the top idea on anybody's creative card. Nobody should be going into the creative meeting saying, hey, Paul, this is the best idea we got. It's not. It's lazy. It's been done before. I don't want to see it again. The Royal Rumble's been mistreated enough. This is the first year that I'm excited about a Royal Rumble in decades. I don't want it to fall victim to the same booking that Vince McMahon did with the Royal Rumble. This is a Vince McMahon idea. The easy way is not the best way. It's the lazy way. Don't do it. We don't want it. I don't know where that fucking music came from, man. I don't know. I wish I knew. I have nothing open. Maybe it's one of those ads. It's like a virtual ad. I got something popped up here. I'm doing Christmas shopping. Maybe it was one of the fucking ads playing on the Christmas sites. I don't know. Major names being discussed for WrestleMania weekend shows. Now, WrestleVotes is reporting this week that WWE wants to have additional events on this weekend, WrestleMania weekend, similar to The Undertaker's Dead Man show. The company has also discussed doing interactive shows with Austin and Trish Stratus. WWE will hold WrestleMania 39 on April 1 and April 2, 2023. There will be a live SmackDown. There will be a Hall of Fame ceremony. There will be NXT Stand and Deliver at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And then, obviously, WrestleMania, 7 p.m. on Saturday, 7 p.m. on Sunday, and Monday Night Raw. It's going to be one hell of a weekend. One hell of a weekend, man. But major names. WWE is going to be flying. You talk about all hands on deck. It's going to be an all hands on deck weekend. They're going to want to make their money during that weekend. Undertaker shows legitimately sell out every time. They're going to do something similar like that with Austin and Trish Stratus. They could do anybody. They want to do Lita, Edge, you know? WWE's got the name value to throw anybody out there, and it's going to sell out. Austin and Trish Stratus, excellent idea. I don't know why they haven't done it already. But Undertaker doing these shows in correlation with all their major pay-per-views, their premium live events, I mean, I could see WWE adding a whole list of shows every time a WrestleMania comes into town or a SummerSlam comes into town. It's a great idea. I don't know why they haven't done it before. WWE Draft. Latest on plans for the draft. Triple H had War Games. Triple H ended whatever plans that there were for a draft to happen before Survivor Series. And the reason why he did that was because it just didn't make sense. He's going to operate with what he has right now, where everybody is right now, and worry about that after the current quote-unquote season has a blow-off. And that usually happens after WrestleMania. WrestleMania is usually the one show where everything in the year comes to a boil and it is finished after WrestleMania. On Monday night, the next night on Raw, things begin anew. It's a new season, new feuds, new matchups, new rosters, right? We get call-ups. We get rosters shifting from Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw. That's where it should be. Vince never went and did that, any of that. Vince always used to have a draft for Fox and the ratings because, oh, look, everybody loves the NFL draft and the NBA draft, right? Let's do a draft and have it appear on Fox. We'll do it on SmackDown. There's no plans. There's no rhyme or reason. Nothing makes sense. We got people that are long tenured to one brand showing up on the other brand and then asked to compete for that brand at the Survivor Series because they were too fucking lazy to get rid of the brand versus brand warfare. It didn't work. Triple H said, nah, I'm not doing that. We're going to have a draft. It's going to be on my time, though. WrestleVotes and Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer have talked about this in the weeks leading up to War Games. Meltzer noted that there has been talk about holding the draft after WrestleMania 39 in April. No, I should ask about that. There's been some talk of waiting until after WrestleMania to do it. There was talk of September, October, which I guess is when it was traditionally done. They just didn't do it. That was a date that was even talked about at one point in October, and they just didn't pull the trigger on it. Good. Good. There's no reason to flip anything right now. We're going into the deadest point in WWE's calendar year in December, all the way into January, past New Year's, and then after New Year's, then we get that sense of urgency. Then we get that Royal Rumble build, and everything is going to take shape, and everything's going to have a nice momentum to it after the new year, after the holidays. So I don't know why we would do a draft in October when it doesn't make any sense. You know, even when Vince had the brand versus brand warfare for Survivor Series, which was a lame fucking concept anyway, because all they did was back themselves into a corner by pitting champion versus champion. They would put one brand champion against the other brand champion. Who the fuck loses? Champions shouldn't be losing in non-title matches. But that was their MO. That was their fucking thing, you know? It's never made any sense at all. Brand versus brand warfare. How could you develop a brand versus brand warfare with a draft that flips the fucking rosters upside down for 1 month and then you ask us to care for a Raw versus SmackDown fucking investment? They didn't show any investment for a brand warfare during the year, and there wasn't enough time to even build one with holding a draft in October. It's more likely that there's a brand warfare and a possible intrigue there if you do one in April and build it all through the year. But Triple H got rid of all that. He's not doing a draft for Survivor Series. The only reason why the draft happened was for Survivor Series. The draft is now happening because it freshens up Raw and SmackDown, and it gives Triple H a fresh slate to work with. Right now, he's still working with the Triple H, or with the Vince McMahon way of life. Triple H is still working with Vince McMahon's fucking manuscript, right? With the roster, he's just added to it. When Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania comes around, Triple H is going to flip this shit upside down. We're going to legitimately get NXT call-ups that make sense. I can't wait. The draft this year is going to be a big deal because it's not Vince McMahon. Triple H also explained how he handles creative changes when they happen at the last minute. This was actually stated during the Survivor Series press conference. He actually had a couple of interesting pieces of news come out of the Survivor Series press conference. He commented on how WWE handles last-minute changes due to various reasons. He says, well, thank you. That's a good question. Whoever asked it, I don't know. The process is different, and it's constantly evolving because you just really can't. About the time you say, all right, this is where we're going. It's written in stone. This is what we're doing. Somebody gets injured, and then everything changes. And when one piece changes, creative is like dominoes. However, many people you have on your roster, when one piece moves, it changes the dynamic of the whole deck. You have to constantly move with it. You're setting yourself up for a long-term, medium-term, short-term, knowing that it can change on a week-to-week basis, given injuries, given you put something out there that you think is getting this kind of reaction, and it gets this kind of reaction, and it's like, oh my God, we're on to something different here. We're going to head in that direction. You want everyone to know where we are heading. End quote. The best thing I could use as an example there is the Sami Zayn situation. This was not supposed to be a long-tenured bloodline for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has gotten so over in the bloodline. His antics have gotten so over. Some people don't like the comedic nonsense in the bloodline because the bloodline was serious. It was a serious group. It was the Usos. It was Solo. It was Roman. Before Solo got involved, it was all family. Sami Zayn getting thrown into that dynamic, it added a little comedic timing and a little comedic element to the bloodline. And that wasn't planned. Sami Zayn was going to be kicked out well before any of this really, took shape to where it is right now. And Sami Zayn even documented it wasn't supposed to be that long at all, but things just got going and got so hot that WWE actually had to keep Kevin Owens out of the storyline for an entire month and a half because they didn't want to include him in it when they needed to include him in it. They just pushed everything back and are now riding Sami Zayn's momentum with the bloodline to take it into WrestleMania. Without Sami Zayn being as hot as he is, we're not getting to WrestleMania with this storyline. So they held off on everything, and they rode that wave of momentum. Sami Zayn has injected life, a brand new sense of life into the bloodline outside of what we originally got with the group. He made it interesting. The bloodline was interesting, but now it's really interesting. And the dynamic that he's eventually going to get an ass kicking, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to reunite, those are two elements that did not happen before Sami Zayn joined the bloodline. So not only do we have the bloodline now, which is blood, Roman's family, now we have two legit best friends in real life away from WWE television clashing with the bloodline and Roman's family. You can't ask for anything better than that. And Sami Zayn, Uso and Sami Uso and Usi and all this other shit, right? It wasn't supposed to happen. And what Triple H said here is exactly that. They took it and they went in that direction. Oh, it's working. Let's continue going in that direction. Sometimes it works out that way. Sometimes you plan something and the unexpected happens and you got to change course. They got shit planned and Triple H has, this is the way he operated in NXT. He planned and planned and planned. Long-term vision, long-term booking for Triple H. This is a long-term booking angle. It wasn't a long-term booking angle. The long-term booking is Rock and Roman. Now we're just taking a little detour and we're making a pit stop here with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But Sami Zayn was not supposed to be there for this long, and they just rode that wave of momentum. Now we're going in this direction because it's so fucking hot. I love it. He also addressed reports of WWE possibly dropping gimmick premium live events. This was also at the Survivor Series press conference. Triple H commented on the future of other gimmick events under his run. He says, and I quote, I think there was a feeling that Hell in a Cell is one of those things that is a giant blow-off, something that Vince McMahon didn't realize. If you're calling somebody out at the end of something, you can challenge them to a Hell in a Cell match. So I hear this speculation amongst fans and all of you, as well as media, about Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber. Maybe those things should go away. Some of that I hear. Hell in a Cell, I hear it. I had a highlight of my career, Mick Foley, and I each, inside Hell in a Cell, calling out each other inside Hell in a Cell. When you get into, I challenge you to the Elimination Chamber with 5 other guys, it doesn't work. Same thing. I challenge you to Money in the Bank. I feel that there's a difference there. I think we have to reevaluate all of that. We have to look at that, and it's really looking at the overall calendar and saying, what is the best place for this? What is the best place to put this? What is the best way to entertain our fans? What makes the most sense? One after the other. It's no different than booking or looking at a show and you say this match has to deliver, but it can't take away from the rest of the show. It's the whole arching of a story of what we're trying to do right now. Then it's the whole year of what we put out all together. There are so many layers to what we do that you have to keep in mind, all of those, and we will look at those things moving forward. It's all up in the air, but it's something we think about on a regular basis. Regarding the future of War Games, Triple H said that things worked out well at Survivor Series, and they will see where it goes as it's part of the process of looking at the overall year-to-year calendar. I don't see anything that Triple H said there that was, not wrong, not right in this sense. I mean, he's right about everything he says. There's a feeling that Hell in a Cell is one of those giant blow-off matches and should not be a thing because, it's the month of October rolling around. Let's do a Hell in a Cell match. WWE fucked this shit up badly to a point where I don't even want to see a fucking Hell in a Cell match at the Royal Rumble. I don't think we need one for many years. It needs to go away and it needs to be missed again. Now, I'm not saying that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns don't fit in a Hell in a Cell match. I just think I don't think we need one so soon after canceling the premium live event as a whole. Look what WWE did with with Sasha and Bayley inside Hell in a Cell. Look at what they did with those two women. When they ended their run in the pandemic era and then they feuded, right? Their first match was inside Hell in a Cell. Why? WWE wanted to get this feud going, and legitimately the first match fall on Hell in a Cell. It was ridiculous that those two women had to have their first match inside. Then they went to a no DQ match, and then they had a regular match. They did things backwards, and nobody batted an eyelash. Nobody looked at it and thought it was ridiculous. Vince just let it happen. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no logic. There's no common sense. Having a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in October because it was the month of October and the word hell is in the fucking show and the match name because it correlates with Halloween. Such a lazy, fucking childish way of thinking. If the match calls for it is the only way a Hell in a Cell match is going to work. Same thing with a TLC match. Same thing with anything. Money in the Bank. You're not going to hear people challenging each other to a Money in the Bank ladder match. Get rid of the fucking pay-per-view. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Put it at Wrestlemania. How many times have I said this? Women's match on Saturday, women's match on Saturday, men's match on Sunday. That's it. What more do you need? 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, Saturday and Sunday, men and women. I don't understand why we need to make things more complicated than they really need to be. Elimination Chamber, it should be outside of what's going on right now in a normal year where we have 2 champions, one on Raw and one on SmackDown. The Elimination Chamber should be used to find the other championship match at WrestleMania. One brand wins the Rumble, the other brand goes into the Chamber. If Roman held the Universal Championship and let's say Seth Rollins held the WWE Championship and somebody from Raw won the Royal Rumble, they'd get Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That match is already set. So now Roman needs an opponent at WrestleMania. How do we find Roman's opponent? Through the Elimination Chamber. On a normal year, that match works in the grand scheme of WrestleMania season. How it's going to work this year, I have no fucking clue. I have no clue. They theoretically could use the Royal Rumble to find Roman's one opponent, and then in the Elimination Chamber, find Roman's other opponent. I don't know how they're going to do that. But yes, Triple H dropping gimmick pay-per-views, good. Should have been done a long time ago. Speaking of Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank is, I don't know when it's going to happen. Right now, they haven't made any confirmation on getting rid of it. So right now, still, at this moment, it is still a pay-per-view on its own. Now, there was a rumor going around that there is already a potential winner for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and this has been going around on social media. The rumor was LA Knight was scheduled to win the Money in the Bank ladder match coming up next year. I mean, if they're still doing it, it's not going to happen till the summer, so I don't know why we're talking about anybody winning a match that's still 7 months away. Fightful Select is reporting that he has not even been discussed as a possible winner. No possible winners have been discussed. It's also been rumored that the Money in the Bank ladder matches could be returning to WrestleMania instead of taking place on their own as a standalone pay-per-view, as Triple H wants to move away from holding gimmick-themed events such as Money in the Bank, TLC, and Hell in a Cell. I hope that's the case. Money in the Bank needs to be at WrestleMania, and in Money in the Bank's place on the pay-per-view calendar needs to be King of the Ring. I've talked about this. In nauseam, I've talked about this. You guys know how I feel about this. It's a very easy fix. Fightful's report also noted that several members of WWE's creative team and higher-ups in the company stated that while the idea isn't impossible, nothing has come across their desks as of yet. I like LA Knight, but we don't have any definitive plans across the board for months down the line, much less next year's Money in the Bank. If we wanted it on him so badly, it wouldn't have been hard to take theories to put it on him, is what they said. I've never heard him discussed in the same conversation as Money in the Bank. Not that it couldn't happen, because he's a great performer, but it's not been discussed, end quote. Stop believing zero news. Sources, they have zero. Stop. They're not a legit source. They should be fucking excommunicated off Twitter. Elon Musk should be taking down those fucking Twitter accounts. Stop believing Twitter accounts with zero sources. They have nothing. Nothing. If they get anything right, it's on a fucking lucky whim. Money in the Bank needs to be at WrestleMania, and King of the Ring needs to take its place in the middle of WrestleMania and SummerSlam as a bridge between both events. Guys, we're going to get into the William Regal stuff in just a little bit. We need 20 more likes for 1,000. Can we get 20 more likes for 1,000, guys? I mean, that's fucking great. I'm going to play some real music. I'm going to play some Doc. How about we get some Red Skies floating in here, huh? I'm going to check the chat, man. We're getting into this William Regal stuff in just a little bit, but we need 10 likes for 1,000, man. I'll continue to show when we get 10 fucking likes, okay? 1,000 minimum on the post show. Super chats are open. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. It's so easy. So easy, man. Holy shit. You guys are great, man. Awesome. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out with our cold beverages at the end of the show. Memberships are open. We got 5 new members tonight, man. I appreciate you guys very much. We got 5 new members. Ronald Sims becomes a new member. DJN becomes a new member. Caleb Bricely becomes a new member. Kai Chien Chisholm becomes a new member. You guys are great, man. Holy shit. Get those memberships in, man. Get them on in. We'll be drinking in my mother's basement soon enough. I love this song, man. I love that song, man. Sorry about that unnecessary distraction earlier. I still don't know where the fuck that came from, man. I really don't. I don't know where this came from, man. Literally out of nowhere. William Regal is finished with AEW. Now, this has been an ongoing story all week. Where's Regal going? Is he going back to WWE? Is he under contract with AEW for 3 years? 3 years turned into 9 months. 9 months turned into 3 years. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Now we got the solid answer about what's going on with William Regal. Let's start at the top. Let's start at the beginning. William Regal's return to WWE was being discussed. And it was being discussed, and then all of a sudden, during Survivor Series hype, right on the day of Survivor Series, Triple H tweets out a fucking collage of William Regal's saying War Games. So you knew something was going on there, because why would he use William Regal, who's not a part of the company, who's in AEW, to sell his war games across social media? Just a little bizarre, if you ask me. William Regal's name came up in WWE for a return, and Meltzer initially said it won't happen until next year. Wrestling Observer Radio Dave Meltzer answered fan questions about Regal after a segment with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson on AEW Dynamite a couple of weeks ago. And while it looked like Regal was being written off, there are more plans, or were, I should say, more plans for him in AEW, as he had months left on his contract. Meltzer originally stated, and I quote, "I would just say that when his contract is up, it wouldn't surprise me. Tony can make him a better offer and all that. It is certainly something that has been discussed. I will just say that." Meltzer originally said his contract is not up for a very long time. I think it was only a one-year deal. I was told a date, but it might be wrong. But it's still months away, several months away. I don't know what the situation is. I think it will probably need to be explained. Regal is certainly a story that's up in the air. It's not a non-story. That's probably the best way for me to put it right now. So that was Meltzer in the beginning. So 3 years turned into 9 months, and then all of a sudden we got William Regal returning to WWE. Meltzer then said that something is going on. No shit. With William Regal. And also said something is in play. However, Regal was under a 3-year contract with AEW through 2025, unless Tony Khan let him out of his deal early. Regal was written off AEW programming during Wednesday's Dynamite when the new World Heavyweight Champion, MJF, attacked him with brass knuckles in the back and double-crossed him. This was after Regal turned on Moxley by costing him the title by helping MJF win it at Full Gear. PW Insider reported this week that all signs are that William Regal, age 54, will be World Wrestling Entertainment bound shortly. The report added that while the company has made nothing official, there have been rumblings within WWE as of late about Regal returning in a backstage role. Fightful is now reporting that William Regal, according to AEW sources, is done completely. Fightful's reporting that they got word during WrestleCade weekend that William Regal's deal was coming up in December 2022, which led him to being written off television on Wednesday. And by the way, it was a great write-off. How many times do you get to see a write-off done like that where they don't fucking come back? I loved everything about that segment. I thought the segment was great. And it brought MJF back to being MJF on Wednesday's Dynamite. Another source in AEW told Fightful that after the MJF angle that ran last week, William Regal was done with AEW and was set to leave the company. There have been several rumors on the length of Regal's current deal, which we can't really lend anything to. However, sources in AEW are all operating on the assumption that he is indeed leaving, and WWE sources are operating on the assumption that he is rejoining the company. Now, we don't have any details on the unusual length of the deal after he debuted back in March. Remember, he debuted at at Revolution with Moxley and Bryan in a wrestling match. He showed up at the end of that match to separate both of them, which was basically the birth of the Blackpool Combat Club. WWE sources stated that it does not come as any surprise that William Regal is likely headed back because Triple H was very unhappy that Regal was let go in the first place. As you guys know, fired by Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. NXT sources had long told Fightful that William Regal was considered a lifer with the brand, specifically NXT, something that Triple H mentioned himself to us once. Those in WWE expect him to resume an advanced role similar to the one he had before, but that was not confirmed. In the moments since publishing this story, Fightful said that we're told Regal is finalizing a new deal with WWE. William Regal's back. William Regal is back in WWE. Now, you're probably asking, how the fuck is he able to get out of his AEW contract? I have no idea. Brian Alvarez seems to have an idea, but I have no fucking idea. But I'll tell you what, I was on the same wavelength as Brian Alvarez. When I read this, I said, this is exactly the type of answer that I would give in regards to this. Brian Alvarez discussed William Regal's AEW contract on Wrestling Observer Live. Alvarez made it clear that he is not confirming anything, but he relayed what was told to him. PW Insider and Fightful have also reported on William Regal, as I just mentioned. I don't know what's going on, says Alvarez, with William Regal, but this is what I can tell you. I believe, and I was not told this outright, but I've kind of been given the indication that this is the end of William Regal in AEW as of Wednesday's show. That was writing him off the show. He was beaten up by MJF. He was taken out on a stretcher, and he was taken away in an ambulance, and I believe that we are not going to see him again on AEW. He originally signed a multi-year deal that was going to be up in the spring, Alvarez said. For the last several weeks, there have been a lot of rumors about William Regal. It started a little bit before that, but people really started talking about it when they did the segment after he turned on Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley got in the ring. They had a face-to-face, him and Moxley told him, walk and never come back. He walked. A lot of people believed that he was never going to come back. I was not outright told that he was not going to come back, but I kind of was given the impression that there would be no more William Regal. Again, I want to make this clear. I have not been told outright that he is gone, but based on several things, I believe he's gone. He's no longer going to be in AEW. I don't know this for a fact, that he's going back to WWE imminently, but this is what I could tell you for a fact. The belief among people within WWE is that when he signed with AEW, he essentially had an agreement where if Triple H returns to power, he can go back to WWE. And Triple H is now back in power. The belief within WWE is that this is what is going on. He is going back to WWE and it was a part of the agreement that when he made, that he made with Tony Khan, that when he signed with AEW and Triple H took over in WWE, that he would be able to go back there when he wanted. Now William Regal is returning and Triple H is in power. Whether this is the case or not, we will, I'm sure, find out soon enough. Alvarez reiterated again that this is the belief that he believes, this is what he believes, and that he believes he's going back to WWE, which I just read you the report from Fightful, that he is on his way back and working out a new contract with WWE. Alvarez also made it clear that what he is hearing is not from Triple H or Nick Khan. He also mentioned Regal's health issue, and another possible reason why Regal would want to go back to WWE is that if he returns to working in a backstage role, that he would be home in Florida and not have to travel. I don't know, man. None of this makes sense. I mean, why? What the fuck is Tony Khan doing? What is Tony Khan doing? This is a lesson learned. This is a lesson learned. Do not, no matter what the cost, do not sign anybody else under the Triple H learning tree. Don't sign any Triple H talent. Don't. Malachi wanted to go back to WWE when Triple H took over. Buddy Matthews wanted to go back to WWE when Triple H took over. Andrade wanted to go back to WWE when Triple H took over. Who's to say Adam Cole doesn't want to go back to WWE when Triple H took over? We haven't seen Adam Cole on TV in months. Enough. Stop hiring everybody that worked under Triple H. The loyalty is not there. It's not. And now AEW looks like a bunch of fools for bringing in William Regal. And if this is the case, if they allowed him to sign with AEW with an out clause that if Triple H returns to power, that he'd be able to go back, what the fuck are we doing in AEW? What? That is the most ridiculous. I'm not saying that's the truth, but if that is anywhere close to being true, that is absolutely ridiculous. I can't even fucking believe that for a solitary second that something like that would even exist. Why would William Regal believe that Triple H was going to take... This was back in March. The Vince McMahon shit didn't come out till June. The investigation did not start until June. The Wall Street Journal report didn't come out until the beginning of the summer. How the fuck did William Regal even contemplate that Triple H was even going to take over? It was doom and gloom back in March. Nobody thought Triple H was ever going to return to power. This man was busy pushing fucking pencils and filing papers at Titan Tower. He was busy running Bruce Pritchard's Starbucks order in March. What the fuck are you talking about if Triple H returns to power? They would just hand him NXT again after they fucking killed it. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. You fucking serious? I can't believe that for one fucking second. I love AEW. I want to make that very well known right now. I love AEW. I want nothing but the best for AEW. There's a lot of talent over there that I'm very, very much, just like you guys, high on. This is one of the biggest L's in AEW history. One of the biggest L's in AEW history. William Regal, I don't know how you don't sign that man to a 3-year fucking deal easy and lock him in. 9 months? 9 months. 1 year, you sign William Regal for 1 year. To do what? Whatever he did on television was great. What he did on television was some of the best things that AEW has done all year. Some of the best storylines, some of the best interactions have been with William Regal on television in this 1 year. And now he's gone. I don't know what you guys think. But William Regal, apparently, according to EC3, now take this with a grain of salt. I have no fucking idea what's going on here. But Sportskeeda, again, take this with a grain of salt because Sportskeeda is one of the most clickbait articles in all of the IWC. They have this show called The Wrestling Outlaws, and EC3 revealed that William Regal said after he made his AEW debut that William Regal supposedly regretted his decision to sign with Tony Khan and AEW as there were several issues within the company's management. When he went over to AEW, says EC3, the word was, he said, I immediately regretted this decision. There's very much a maturity issue here within management. It's funny, you say this, and I had so much to learn, and yet you're the one that made the deal with the devil, MJF said. That's what MJF said in the promo, which led to him turning on William Regal and effectively kicking him out of the company. But William Regal was written off after MJF pretty much said he made the deal with the devil, and the devil revealed himself on Dynamite. But EC3 says the decision was immediately one of regret for William Regal. I don't know what you guys think when you read this story. I don't know where you fall in line with this story. What I see from my point of view, from my vantage point, is that if William Regal regretted AEW for those reasons, kind of looking back at what CM Punk said during the all-out media scrum, man, it's becoming a little bit more clear that CM Punk may have been more right than anybody cared to really admit. And CM Punk, at the end of this, may be owed a lot of apologies. This is one of the biggest L's in AEW history. I don't give a fuck how long you have signed William Regal. It could have been 6 months. It could have been 3 months. It could have been a fucking one-off appearance. Could have been a year. William Regal left after 9 months. He debuted in March at Revolution with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, starting the Blackpool Combat Club. It aided in getting Wheeler Yuta over in the Blackpool Combat Club. They immediately became one of the best things on television. They were the #1 faction under the Bloodline in all of pro wrestling here in the United States. Letting William Regal walk. And nobody knows what William Regal is thinking. I'm sure we'll hear about it soon enough. Letting William Regal walk, and if it's a case of him regretting because of management being immature and there's no proper leadership at the top, what the fuck does that say to you about AEW? If William Regal, someone of his stature, someone of his just knowledge and presence backstage, if he walks out of that company and does not want to work there and does not believe in the vision that is AEW, what the fuck do you think is going to happen to everybody else that walks out after William Regal? It will be the same thing. It will be for the very same reason. The same report that Sportskeeda put out, supposedly it was an exclusive. They cited that the immaturity backstage was not only within management, that it was within the roster, the locker room. Some of the locker room reportedly, they kind of made fun of William Regal. They didn't want to listen to the knowledge of William Regal. They didn't want to listen to any advice passed down to them by William Regal. I have to ask why. Why is it such? And again, I don't work for AEW. I don't know what the environment is backstage. CM Punk said one thing. William Regal here in this report feeling another way. Obviously, it's out of somebody else's mouth, so we don't know what to believe. But we've heard so many different stories about backstage morale and people thinking who they are and their shit don't stink and the locker room being one of the wild, wild west where everything is just a fucking free-for-all. It's not just Sportskeeda. It's everywhere. You hear about this everywhere. And if it's being spoken everywhere, why wouldn't there be some legitimacy to that story? Why? Is everybody lying? Does everybody have bad sources? I don't think so. I mean, if one person said it and it was dumbed down as false and a lie, then that's one story. But everybody is saying that there is a bad backstage environment. Before this CM Punk thing happened, there was a bad backstage environment. So how can everybody be fucking lying about it? Everybody wants to sit there and be on their high horse because they made it to AEW. Now, granted, the whole structure in this is where AEW suffers. There's no fucking structure. You know, where William Regal came from, you know, when William Regal gave you advice, if you were in NXT, you're going to sit there and fucking listen to the advice. You were brought into the Performance Center. You were asked to fucking conduct classes and train with William Regal standing there, judging your every move, judging your every sequence. He was there after the fucking scrimmages. He was there after every fucking tryout session. He was there after every training session. He was there as an open book. You had anything to ask him, he was going to give you a true, honest answer. From somebody that started on day one, that was there for 6 months, that somebody was there for 6 years, 12 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. William Regal's door was always open, and nobody in WWE ever turned away advice from William Regal. So why am I hearing stories about the locker room in AEW turning away when William Regal wanted to give them advice? Why is that? You know, when you make it in WWE, you make it because of men like William Regal. When William Regal wants to come into AEW and give you fucking advice on how to be better, you're going to turn him away? What do you think, AEW is the end-all, be-all? All because you're on fucking television, you think you made it to AEW? You think you made it to the fucking big time? Give me a fucking break with that shit. Where is the humbleness in that locker room? The humbleness can't come from the Jerichos and the Moxleys and the Bryans and the Cesaros and the Miros and all these other guys, all these other veterans. Half of that fucking locker room thinks that their shit doesn't stink. And when William Regal walks into your company, William Regal is going to give you advice. You better fucking listen to it. William Regal is there to do whatever he can. He might not have wanted to be there for the long haul, but if he is there, now you bypassed an opportunity to learn from this man who was there for only 9 months, and now you don't have somebody like William Regal. Don't you go home and kick yourself in the ass? You were this close to working with William Regal. You had William Regal backstage every fucking Wednesday, and you didn't pick this guy's brain for however long you need to be backstage. You turned him away because he's William Regal. 54 years old. What the fuck am I going to learn from William Regal? CM Punk said this very thing in the goddamn post-show media scrum at All Out. I didn't understand it then. I understand it a lot more now with William Regal. CM Punk's got his own fucking problems, and the reason why he blew up, it should have never fucking happened. He never should have conducted himself that way. But I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with CM Punk in any way, but the things that he said and the things that he unleashed in that post-show scrum, now looking at something like this, it really kind of opens up Pandora's box as to what the problem is in AEW. There's no fucking structure in that company. None. Everybody thinks who the fuck they are. Now it's starting to really, it's really starting to become apparent. It's starting to become apparent not only in this story, I see it firsthand myself. I say anything negative about Ring of Honor or AEW, I got people in my fucking mentions that that don't even follow me. I got people in my mentions, wrestlers on that roster that don't even follow me in my fucking mentions, talking about this, that can't take fucking criticism. I don't give a fuck who you are. You got to humble yourself if someone like that is in the fucking locker room. Never in 1,000 fucking years would I think that William Regal would be disrespected and not wanted in a locker room. You don't want to listen to advice from William Regal. Now, outside of the Triple H connection, William Regal should have never even been fired. He never should have even been fired from WWE. William Regal was only fired. He was only fired because he was Triple H's right-hand man. They didn't need him. Vince had his right-hand men. Vince had every fucking yes man in the book. What the fuck does he need William Regal for? He fired him because it was the ultimate fuck you to Paul Levesque. That's all it was. Tough love, fatherly love, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was absolutely demoralizing, and they did it on purpose. They burned Atlantis down to the ground because they knew NXT was something special. They knew that everything Triple H was doing was the right way to handle things, and they didn't want to be overlooked, and they didn't want to have their fucking, their food on their table taken away by Triple H and his team. He didn't beat AEW in the ratings. Let's fucking get rid of it all. Meanwhile, it was the best thing that WWE ever put on. William Regal was right there at the forefront, got rid of him. Should have never even been fired, ever. There should have never even been a fucking AEW William Regal contract pairing anyway. Never should have even been a thing. But here we are. Now he's going back to WWE. What the fuck do you think he's going to do? He's going to fall right in line where he was and be Triple H's right-hand man. A lot of people are saying, oh, Charlie Dempsey's in NXT. His son is in NXT. Fine. I'm sure he's going to do a lot of work with his son. I'm sure he's going to get his son ready for what he needs to do. But William Regal going back to NXT, there's no value in William Regal returning to NXT. Why the fuck would he go to NXT for? NXT is NXT. The best of what you think NXT is right now is what you're watching on Tuesday. There's no way William Regal's going on that show to make it any better. William Regal himself, the vibe in general, doesn't make that show make any sense. He doesn't fit with that show anymore. His vision does not fit with that show anymore. Triple H's vision on NXT Black and Gold is now advancing itself on the main roster. That's where William Regal's going to go. All the other work that he's going to do with Charlie Dempsey, he'll do it in the Performance Center. William Regal's not going to be an on-air character for NXT. He's not going to be the GM of NXT. We've already seen Shawn Michaels on TV more times than I care to ever see him on television. He's the guy. He's the figurehead. He is the man on NXT. So going back to NXT and reliving his NXT ties and Charlie Dempsey and all this other shit, there's no reason William Regal needs to be on NXT. William Regal's value is going to be alongside Triple H, calling up the talent that is main roster ready, and William Regal is going to be there to give them the fucking advice that the AEW locker room clearly did not want because they think who the fuck they are. What a disgusting display from the AEW locker room if that is anywhere close to being a legit story. What a major fucking L for the company. Tony Khan letting him walk. Letting him walk. None of this makes sense. Why would you ever put into a contract, yeah, well, all right, I want you here. I'm going to say, if you want to work with us, fine. But if Triple H does take over power and he goes back to resuming responsibilities on NXT, I'll let you go. Weak. Tony Khan just puts himself in a position to continuously be played. He looks like an idiot. He let William Regal go back to the fucking guy that Tony Khan himself said treated him like shit. When Tony Khan tries and does something good, like the CM Punk situation, suspended him, suspended the Elite, stripped them of the titles, finally putting his foot down, trying to make right of the story, we grew some sense of respect for Tony Khan in that way. And now with this story, he's just letting William Regal go back to the guy who actively fucking shit all over him, which he said personally himself at the last post-show media scrum for All Out. And you're letting him walk right back there? My God, does Tony Khan look like a fucking pushover? You're letting somebody like that walk out with EC3 out there in a fucking exclusive interview say that William Regal regretted his decision to ever sign with AEW because of management, mishandling, and the lack of fucking humbleness in the locker room. No structure. Basically, everything that we've come to know about AEW in the news is slowly being revealed and exposed. This William Regal situation is not a good thing at all. It's not. It's a huge L. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to AEW. I still want AEW to succeed. I want the best for AEW. But if you're going to let William Regal walk out of your fucking company, what the fuck does that tell everybody else in the locker room? It's not a good look. It's not. You just denied Malachi his release so he couldn't go back to Triple H. But you're letting William Regal go and walk back to Triple H. You just went back on everything. You just undid everything you did with everybody else that wanted the same thing William Regal wanted. William Regal could go back, but Malachi can't go back. William Regal could go back, but Andrade can't go back. Miro can't go back. What a fucking shit show. William Regal did what he did on AEW television, and it was very good. The Moxley-Bryan situation that saw him first debut, the Blackpool Combat Club, what he did with MJF on Wednesday was tremendous television. But if you think him walking out of that company right back to Triple H after being in AEW, it's almost, I don't want to put on my conspiracy theory cap. I don't, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't want to pretend I'm fucking Alex Jones in no way, shape, or form. But holy fucking shit, man. This sounds like a goddamn inside fucking job. It does. It almost sounds like William Regal was sent in there to be a fucking silent assassin to check out and scope out what the fuck is going on. Maybe get some numbers and gauge how people are fucking acting and get some contract info before he goes back to WWE and Triple H and just unveils all the information he has. What a complete fucking shit show. A complete shit show. Tony Khan is not the guy to be running a fucking company. He does not have the backbone to run this company and keep this locker room in check. He doesn't. Just by what I see here, there is no solid leadership at all at the top at AEW. None. None. This is only the beginning. You think William Regal's going to be the last fucking guy to walk out of AEW to go to WWE because they want to work with Triple H? For Triple H? Fuck no. Fuck no. This is going to set off an avalanche of fucking, hey, I want out too. You don't think there are people on that fucking roster quietly waiting for their contract to run out so Triple H gives them the opportunity to join the Performance Center or NXT, or if you're at that level, the main roster? I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but that's the way I'm thinking here. That's what I'm feeling. There's no leadership at the top. Tony Khan is not the right guy to be running this company. His bank account and his paycheck, his checkbook is big enough to be running the fucking company, but he himself is not big enough to run the company. Then you got the fucking EVPs who do absolutely fucking nothing but benefit themselves and themselves only. You got nobody else as far as structure in the. Who else is there? Who else is there? Who's running that locker room? Who is running that locker room? Jericho? Bryan? Moxley. So you got the inmates basically running the asylum. because they're active in-ring performers on a weekly basis. You got the roster, 3 guys at the roster of that stature running the locker room. You have nobody else. You got nobody else under Tony Khan in an executive role running the locker room. You got EVPs who are active in-ring talent on TV every week. You got roster members in Jericho, Bryan, and Moxley running the fucking locker room who are active on TV every fucking week. Where is their structure in this company where there's somebody running the company that is not an active in-ring performer? Who is there? Said this time and time and time again. On top of that, Tony Khan needs a fucking writing team because the show has been piss poor, not up to snuff and not up to quality for the last, 6 months, 7 months. We've got dashes of greatness here, and then we got shit that don't make sense. Dashes of greatness there, and things that don't make sense. Ring of Honor, polluting AEW television to a point where I can't tell the fucking difference. What's Ring of Honor and AEW anymore? I got people telling me that Shane Taylor is on AEW television selling a Ring of Honor storyline for Final Battle on Saturday. Who the fuck is Shane Taylor, and why the fuck is he on TV? Ring of Honor, this, and fucking TV title here, and TNT title there, and fucking FTW title, and fucking my dick's title. How many fucking titles? I don't know what's what anymore. I don't. William Regal leaving is a fucking terrible look for AEW. Terrible. He's basically saying, listen, minus the Triple H fucking connection apart and minus Charlie Dempsey, his son, minus all that shit. It's basically telling everybody, William Regal's basically telling AEW fucking sucks. I don't want to be here. Someone like that walks out. What do you think is going to happen with everybody else after William Regal? You don't think that's a huge fucking red flag? You don't think that's going to fucking perk the ears up in the locker room? Hey, what the fuck? This guy, William Regal, legend, highly regarded in every aspect of this fucking business, walking out of our company, doesn't want to be here. The fuck does that tell you? What does that tell you? Maybe Tony Khan should not work, or not hire, I should say, people that worked on the Triple H to work for him anymore. You know where the fucking dedication and the loyalty is going to lie. Seems to be backfiring every time he signs somebody, man. Something goes wrong. Enough. William Regal leaving is a terrible look for AEW. A lot of talent are questioning booking decisions of Tony Khan. Now, a lot of talent said to be questioning Tony Khan's booking decisions after this William Regal story. It's been a highly speculated story this week as William Regal is returning to the WWE. Regal was attacked during Dynamite by MJF with brass knuckles. And William Regal had been stretchered out on a gurney and taken out of the building at Dynamite in an ambulance. William Regal, according to Dave Meltzer, is reporting that a lot of talent in AEW have questioned this booking decision made by Tony Khan. It's understandably odd that William Regal was put in front and center of a storyline involving the AEW World Championship title change at Full Gear, only for him to be written off TV a couple of weeks later. Meltzer says, and I quote, "But all that is fine, but I can't understand putting so much heel steam to a point of being the point man in stealing the title on Regal when it was known by key people by this point he was gone in a few weeks. I mean, story or not, the guy was leaving. A lot of talent has questioned that in the same way now that everyone knows he's leaving." End quote. I don't know. I mean, they had to do something. I don't know. What do you question? What is there to question? The only thing you should be questioning is why this man was able to get out of a fucking contract at 9 months. Who signs somebody for 9 months? Nobody. That's what you should be fucking questioning. Why he went from 3 years to 1 year, and now he's done in January. He'll be back in WWE. He'll be back in Orlando in January. That's the one thing you should be fucking questioning. Whatever you're questioning about Wednesday, what the fuck did you want him to do? What did you want Tony Khan to do? They had to book something to write him off television. That's exactly what they did. So you're questioning Tony Khan and the way he handled William Regal. I don't know why that is the one thing you're questioning. He was gone. Everybody knew he was gone. We got to get rid of him. So we used him to get the title off of Moxley, get the title on MJF, pretend that MJF was befriending William Regal after the whole story, for only MJF to turn on William Regal and get him the fuck out of here. Which sets up the next program with MJF against Bryan Danielson, who Bryan Danielson loves William Regal. I don't see where the issue is there. The talent should shut the fuck up, to be honest with you. None of the talent should be booking anything. None of the talent should be questioning anything. This is why Tony Khan needs a fucking writing team. You're questioning Tony Khan. This is one of the decisions that he made that made sense. They needed to write him off television. They effectively did that on Wednesday. I don't know what there is to question. CM Punk. CM Punk is ready to move on to his next project after AEW. Meltzer is reporting that Punk remains under AEW contract and is still being paid as of this past weekend. The report added, those close to him say the holdup on being released is all on AEW's side, as he's ready and willing to move on to his next project. Details are not given on what the holdup may be. Punk recently made his first TV appearance since All Out at the MMA Cage Fury Fighting Championship, doing play-by-play commentary. The holdup is AEW. Why is that? Because they don't want to let CM Punk go. They don't want to let CM Punk go. They want to have him heal up from his injury first and see where his mind is at and then maybe bring him back. That's why. They know the product isn't the same without CM Punk. They know the momentum for AEW is not the same without CM Punk. They know their attendance and their ratings aren't the same without CM Punk. They know it left a black eye on the company. But CM Punk being there in some capacity is going to be better than no CM Punk in AEW. They want him back, and this is the reason why he is still under contract. If they wanted him gone, I don't think Punk is the type of guy, I'm injured, whatever, let me out of my fucking contract, pay me, and let me say goodbye. I don't think Punk gives a fuck if he's injured or not. So what's the holdup? If Punk wants out and AEW wants Punk gone, then there should be no fucking problem, injury or not. Punk is injured, but AEW doesn't want to let him out of his contract. Why? Because AEW wants Punk back. They know they need Punk, and they think that maybe somewhere down the line when he's healed, that there's a chance that they can convince him to come back and maybe work out something. But if he's ready and willing to move on, he's ready and willing to move on. Let him move on. Again, AEW is they're just settling into a WWE-esque role. It's almost the same thing as if Brody Lee asked for his WWE release after Vince McMahon told him he doesn't do a good Southern accent. Brody Lee then asks for his release live on social media in front of the world, and he gets denied. Mustafa Ali asked for his release with Vince McMahon in charge. He got denied. This is basically AEW doing their best Vince McMahon. Punk wants to go and do other things. He wants to be contractually free from AEW, and they said no. What's the holdup? Money? Contract? Punk wants out. Let him out. Pay him. Let him out. If you don't want him, let him go. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be paid and move on. WWE, they did that shit, and it pisses everybody off, and AEW is doing the same fucking thing. They're legitimately pulling out their best Vince McMahon impersonation. Seriously. Come WrestleMania season, that's about the time when CM Punk should be healed with injury. He's, right now, from what Meltzer says, he's on track to, speed up the injury. He's on track to come back quicker than initially anticipated. You think with WrestleMania season looming, you think with Triple H going into the Rumble, with Cody coming back and all the fucking returns, and then WrestleMania season and the storyline and Rock coming back and then the draft and the injection of new talent from it. You think Tony Khan is fucked. And I don't say this because I hate AEW. I'm against TK. I'm against this and that. I'm not pro WWE. I'm not on Triple H's fucking nutsack because he took over. No. It's about quality of the show. If you think AEW's quality of television show is better than WWE right now, or will be better than WWE, you got another thing fucking coming. You do. I don't think you're paying close enough attention. I said this how many fucking times? Tony Khan was the alternative. He's no longer the alternative anymore. He can't be the alternative if Triple H is doing the same fucking thing with a bigger budget than him, with more notable talents than him. Triple H was doing this same thing with barely a budget and independent talent. And he was putting on the best wrestling shows that I personally have ever seen. Now he's got the main roster and all that talent to fucking play around with. You think Tony Khan is considered the alternative now when Triple H is basically doing the same thing that Tony Khan is doing? Tony Khan needs to sit down and he needs to come up with a way that he's going to reinvent the wheel again. And he didn't even really do anything the first time around to fucking blow everybody's roof off. All he did was basically give us, and this is the God-honest truth, Tony Khan basically gave you NXT Black and Gold with an $8 million, $9 million fucking budget. That's all he did. That's all he did. Or however million, what is it, what, billions? $8 billion budget, whatever. Tony Khan. That's all he did. He basically gave you the same blueprint that Triple H gave you with AEW and NXT. That's all he did. Give me a break. He's not the alternative anymore. How is he going to change the course of AEW to compete with WWE? You want to pretend that AEW is on the same level of WWE with all these with Jericho and all these other, people on the roster saying, oh yeah, we'll be within striking distance of Monday Night Raw at this point in time. No, you won't. It's only going to get worse. How is AEW going to stay ahead of the curve? How are they going to differentiate themselves now from WWE? You can't. You modeled yourself as the alternative, and now you're no longer the alternative anymore. It's going to be a tough road, man. It's going to be a tough road. 2022 was a very rough year for AEW. Not going to sit here and tell you Tony Khan is Booker of the Year because he's not. He's not. Triple H Booker of the Year? Quite possibly. He's made changes and he's turned the product around, in very minimal ways, noticeable but minimal ways in 2022. So yes, I'm siding with Triple H over Tony Khan because Tony Khan has made a lot of dumb-headed fucking idiotic decisions this year. He's not the alternative anymore. He's not. CM Punk also, fight forever. Will he be in the video game? According to sources, he is in the video game and Punk has not been removed from the video game. The report states that AEW representatives confirm that they expect all characters revealed for the game to be in the game's final release. Gameplay featuring CM Punk's character model was shared in September courtesy of the Game Club. The footage was recorded at the Tokyo Game Show, which AEW Games attended. Dave Meltzer, in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, said CM Punk is still under contract with AEW, which I just mentioned, and there is a holdup in letting him go. So that's good. Not Triple H. CM Punk is still in the game, and I don't know if he's going to be a day one selectable character, but depending on what's going on, they may use his likeness and have him as a DLC. There will be DLC characters and DLC packs for the game because this is not going to be a yearly fucking release like WWE 2K where they ask you to pay for the same fucking game every year at a $70 price tag and they change barely anything about the game. This will be one solid game that will be updated along the years with new rosters added, new this, new that. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Punk being in the game should be a thing. You promised him in the game. You modeled him. You showed him off. You showed him in-game already. He needs to be in the game. I think that would be a disservice if the fans look forward to that and then don't have it when they buy the game. He needs to be in the game, and I'm glad that he is. Dustin Rhodes set to retire in 2023 at the Blizzard Brawl events this past Saturday night. Dustin Rhodes announced that in 2023, he will be retiring, and it will be his last year in wrestling. He made his professional debut in September 1988. This past November, he revealed that he had about a year left on his AEW contract. Rhodes also serves as a coach in AEW. His last AEW match happened on an episode of Rampage on August 26th, where he unsuccessfully challenged Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Championship. He's had multiple stints with WWE from 1995 to 2019. He was best known for his Goldust gimmick, which was my personal favorite Dustin Rhodes gimmick. Throughout his pro wrestling career, he also worked for TNA Wrestling and WCW. Multi-time champion everywhere he went. IC champion 3 times, Hardcore Championship 9 times, World Tag Team Championship once, WWE Tag Team Championship twice, WCW Tag Team titles, 6-man titles, US title. This guy's got a Hall of Fame career, man. Goldust, back in the early 90s during the New Generation era, my absolute favorite era of Dustin Rhodes. Absolutely. Him and Marlena, top-notch television. Loved it. I love the risque factor of it. I love how different it was. You know, I didn't really understand it or grasp it when I was at that age back in 1994, 1995. But looking back at it now, man, you don't get that type of heat, man. You don't get that type of vibe with a character nowadays. Velveteen Dream was the closest thing to that. He modeled some of his gimmick off of Goldust and that, I guess, that flamboyance off of Goldust. But nobody did it like Dustin, man. That was brilliant right there. I loved everything about that. He was so great in that role, feuding with Ahmed Johnson, feuding with Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title. Everything that he did, even the shit with King Booker, right? Or Booker T. That shit was great. I loved it. I thought that was great. That was to me, what I remember most about Dustin Rhodes. Andrade. Why is he off AEW television? Well, I don't know if he wants to go back to Triple H or not. He probably does. And he probably wants to go work in the same company that his wife works for. But Andrade is off AEW television because he underwent pectoral surgery. He tore his pec, fully recovered. He's going to fully recover, but he fully tore his pec. Andrade said on Instagram that this is his first surgery, and it happened because he tore his pec muscle a few months ago in a tag team match against the Young Bucks. Andrade said that when the tear happened, he wanted to finish his match, and he kept working because he loves the business. There was no timetable for a return to the ring. Andrade's been out of action since September. He also included a clip from the 817 Dynamite with the Trios match, like I said, with Rush, Dragon Lee, and Andrade himself against the Elite. So that is where the injury occurred. He said, "My first surgery, I can't believe it happened a few months ago. I tore my pectoral muscle. Thank God I could and wanted to finish my match. I kept working because I love the business, but we know that many people do not value your effort. These days off, I took the opportunity to go to the doctor." Ric Flair said on his podcast with Conrad Thompson that he feels that Andrade has been misused. He was asked if he would like to see Andrade in AEW again after his recovery from surgery. "I like the stuff with Matt Hardy," Ric Flair said, "but I don't think that they use him properly myself, but I'm going to be obviously biased as he's married to Charlotte. I think he's a much better singles performer than he was in a tag team. It's to be determined. I know that's a very sensitive tear. It was a bad tear, so he's going to be out for a while with this injury," end quote. Another thing Tony Khan fucked up on. I don't know how you bring in somebody like Andrade and you immediately botch him by pairing him with Vicky Guerrero. Then you botch him by bringing in Chavo Guerrero. Then you botch him by putting him with Jose the Assistant and pairing him with Matt Hardy. Let's get this guy a fucking attractive Puerto Rican female to pair him with on TV and just do what Triple H did on TV, please. Without all the interferences that Zelina gave him when they were on the main roster, please. I don't understand what the fucking problem is. Now, we won't see him, I don't know, till next year. Probably going to be out a good 6-7 months. Ridiculous. FTR. They're evaluating their options as their AEW contract expires in a few months. This is going to be an interesting one. They were interviewed by Fightful, and they said this in regards to the situation. They are keeping their options open, and they are looking at all other options out there when their contract ends at the end of April. Now, he said that they're evaluating their options, he and Cash. They've had a lot of conversations about their future. One particular idea they've talked about is that they could take a year off of wrestling for major companies and just do things that are fun to them and maybe work the independent scene. Harwood said that having the opportunity to work more indies in various companies have led them to find out how much they love that landscape. They've joined AEW in May 2020 after having been granted their WWE release. They hold the AAA World Tag Team titles, the IWGP Tag Team Championships, and the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. So, I don't know how likely it is that they leave. It's going to be completely up to them. But again, you know, like I said before with Tony Khan, he's not the alternative anymore. You know, AEW, you know, back in the day, they were able to say confidently, and there'd be nobody to refute the comment that they had the best tag team division in all of pro wrestling. Now, you may actually still think that, but it really is now a subjective topic. AEW does not have the best tag team division in all of pro wrestling. Sometimes I don't even know who is in the tag team division based on how little we see of certain teams. It's not that case anymore. It was very in your face and very blatant about the tag team wrestling when it was in year 1 and year 2. In year 3, not so much. Now, we do have the popularity of the Acclaimed. We got the fucking incredible year that FTR gave us. But I can't sit here and tell you that I can say that AEW has the best tag team division in all of pro wrestling. They don't. They don't. Triple H hasn't really set the standard for tag team wrestling in his administration yet, but he's aligning people together and putting pieces in place to give you a sense that there is a great tag team landscape in WWE. Look at all the trios that he's now, you know, put together in WWE. There's like 9 or 10 different trios that could operate as a trio or operate as a fucking tag team. So if FTR is keeping their options open, you know, going back to WWE now in 2023 may not be as bad of an option as it was when Vince McMahon was running the show, who actively told them that they don't really have a tag team division to work with, because Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling. Vince was never sold on tag team wrestling. He despised tag team wrestling. He thought tag team wrestling wasn't a draw. It didn't make any money. FTR was the only tag team wanting this. They wanted a better division. They wanted a division that they could be actively competitive in, and Vince didn't want to give it to them. So what did Vince do? He embarrassed them. He gave them fucking gimmicks where they both look like court jesters. If you guys remember the fucking photographs that they shared around after they were released, they look like jokers. Legitimately, clowns that you would see at a circus. They joined AEW, and they got off on the right foot. They were placed in that tag team division, and they were home. This is what they wanted. This is where they wanted to be amongst tag team wrestling. Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, LAX, you know, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, right? I mean, give me a break. Now it's not the same. So if they want to go back to WWE, there's a whole new world of possibility now. FTR versus Imperium, FTR versus Alpha Academy, FTR versus Street Profits, FTR versus the Usos, FTR versus the Brawling Brutes, FTR versus anybody, really. New Day. This is a different WWE now. On top of that, you don't think Triple H is going to treat them the way that they have been treated by Tony Khan? If not better, you don't think they're going to be paid? We will know what they do soon enough. If one of them wants to take time off to rest at home and the other does independent work, fine. If they want to go circle the indies and do what they want to do, it's a good indication that they may want to use, or they may want to go back to AEW. But jumping ship to WWE is not out of the realm of possibility here, and Tony Khan really needs to be, you know, keen with this situation. He's got to have one ear open, close, and both eyes open in regards to this situation, because where do you think they got their start? Where do you think they built their name? Why do you think Tony Khan signed them? They got their name with the work that they did in NXT. Under who? You guessed it, Triple H. You don't think Triple H is fucking drooling at the mouth to get FTR, who's probably the best tag team on the fucking planet? Again, the loyalty, man. The loyalty. This is going to be another one of those situations in which the loyalty to Tony Khan is going to be a factor. How much do they value respect, and how much loyalty is there to Tony Khan? With everything that they've been given, you would think that they would have Tony Khan at the top of the list. hey, we want to stay. What are you going to pay us? I'm sure Tony Khan is going to pay them a boatload of money to stay. But it's not the same anymore. It's not. This was an easy decision with Vince in charge. This is not an easy decision now with Triple H in charge and him changing the landscape of everything that is WWE. They also talked about CM Punk. They actually showered CM Punk with praise after what happened at All Out. He says, Dax said, and I quote, CM Punk, again, the same thing with Sasha Banks, a man who obviously has his detractors, and not just in AEW, but around the wrestling world. Sometimes his detractors are louder than him and get their news out there more than he does. But again, it all comes from a place of passion. When he first came into the company, I remember talking to Cash, and I said, if this motherfucker comes in here, if he says something to me about how I dress, like dress code or whatever, I said, we're going to have a fucking problem. He came in, and he was the complete opposite. He had his door open always. He invited people in. He watched matches of the young wrestlers that asked him to, stuck around until after the show, and anybody that had questions, he would answer the questions. He loves wrestling. He is, just like me, unabashedly a professional wrestling fan, just like Sasha. I talk to him every day, and whatever he decides to do in his life, I hope it brings him happy and joy. I mean, I don't know. Dax is not going to bullshit you. Dax is not going to bullshit you. So you take that however you want to take it. I believe Dax when he says that. Again, we don't know anything. You know, the whole grand scheme of the CM Punk thing, you know, the initial action of it may have been something that should have never happened. But I don't doubt that CM Punk was right in most of the things that he said. It's just the way he handled everything at that post-show media scrum. And then, you know, nobody was there. For all we know, it's a fucking work. We don't know. For all we know, this is all one big ploy. And it may have to be if Tony Khan wants to combat anything that Triple H is doing going into next year. AR Fox, new signing to AEW. AR Fox has been wrestling for 15 years. He made his official AEW debut as a member of the roster on Wednesday's Dynamite in an open challenge against Samoa Joe for the TNT title, losing. He lost in his opening match. Why we're getting AR Fox on TV, but we're not getting Miro? Why we're getting AR Fox on TV, but the House of Black is delegated to the fucking Rampage dark show that it is? Because I didn't watch it. Nobody watches Rampage. Nobody gives a fuck about Rampage. But the House of Black made their return last week, and then you opt to put them on Rampage, but give AR Fox TV time against Samoa Joe instead of giving the House of Black TV time on Wednesday, where they should be a priority on the show. And however many other talents are missing from the show, AR Fox got his match on Wednesday. A lot of things wrong with AEW. A lot of things wrong. That doesn't sit well with people. It's only going to get people asking more questions. Well, why is AR Fox on TV? Where the fuck is Miro? Is he hurt? I don't understand it. And then you give him a match and he loses. You would think that people want to see him win, build him up. The fuck did he do to open? What did he do to get a challenge or to deserve an open challenge against Samoa Joe? Of all the fucking people on that roster, AR Fox is the first guy to fucking demand a challenge against Samoa Joe? Guy should have been given a nice little platform to start and then build him up. Nobody knows who the fuck AR Fox is. I know who he is because I've been watching his work since Lucha Underground. I know who he is. That doesn't mean I want to see him on TV over Miro. WWE news and notes here. Got a little news and note on the 24/7 title. The 24/7 title has not been featured in quite some time before WWE effectively retired it. Since Triple H's regime took over, the 24/7 title wasn't just put on the back burner. It was taken off of the show altogether. The title hadn't changed hands on television at all for the first 3 months of the new regime led by Triple H, but it still had been used. The title had been used on numerous house shows despite not being on television at all. There have been several title changes with one spot leading to a referee winning the title before it eventually was won back by Dana Brooke. A WWE source said that the title was almost never mentioned in a creative sense, but allowed for some fun moments for the live shows, the live house shows. The future of the title seemed to be up in the air, and it wasn't something that we heard Triple H ever talk about. Dana Brooke had been competing on main events fairly regularly and wearing the championship to the ring while being announced as the champion. However, she wasn't booked in title defenses on the show, and there weren't any traditional 24/7 title chase elements before losing the title to Nikki Cross. Why would Triple H mention this creatively? It was an absolute embarrassment to the show. I don't hear people, all the people, I loved the initial reaction to the 24/7 title because I was the one person in the community leading the charge. Why is this on television? Then we saw the brigade of catering VIPs run about, chasing the fucking champion throughout the fucking show, interrupting matches. Ember Moon tore her fucking meniscus, chasing the goddamn title. I mean, give me a fucking break. No wonder Triple H never mentioned it fucking creatively. It was garbage. It popped Vince McMahon, and that's all it did. And they were too lazy to get rid of it because they actively wanted to make the show worse. They didn't have one fucking creative bone in their body. And all the people that said, ha, 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 this is great. I love this. Why don't you like having fun? Fuck your fun. I'm not here for fun, motherfucker. I'm here to watch a show that makes sense, that is produced by adults, for adults. You want 24/7 title? You want fucking comedic circus-like garbage? Go watch Nickelodeon. Get the fuck off my program. Guarantee you interview the fucking talent in those goddamn awful, deplorable segments, and they give you the same reaction I'm giving you now. You think, ask Ember Moon what she thought about the 24/7 title. I dare you. Fucking ridiculous. Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox returned during Friday Night SmackDown to crickets, by the way. She returned to absolutely no reaction. Tegan Nox. Nox was among the many names released due to budget cuts under the regime of Vince McMahon. Nox was moved up to the main roster from NXT last year. She wrestled a handful of matches on the main roster, but then she was released. They teamed her with Shotzi Blackheart. But when Shotzi got called up, she was in a tag team with Ember Moon. But they paired Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. But they called Tegan Nox up, but not Ember Moon. Goes to show you the illogical garbage that was Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard's era of WWE. Nox is just one of the many names that have been brought back after Vince McMahon stepped down. Karrion Kross, Emma, Dakota Kai, Hit Row, Shiro. Just a couple of names brought back. Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis. Tegan Nox is one of the many names that were brought back by Triple H after Vince McMahon stepped down. I've seen a lot of people agree with my take on Wednesday. Then you got people like Sap and all these other fucking geeks out there. She was, whatever. She did good on the main roster, and she had a big impact on NXT or whatever the fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. I understand you want to buddy up to people in the community and buddy up to the fucking wrestlers, but when something is bad, I'd appreciate if people call it out as fucking bad. She came out to fucking silence. How is that a right debut or a good debut? It was lame. The only positive is that they teamed her with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is incredibly popular. So maybe the Liv Morgan fans will get on board and the casual fans will get on board with Tegan Nox because she's standing side by side with Liv Morgan. But that doesn't negate the fact that she came out to fucking silence. Silence. It was not executed right. It was not. I'm not asking for everybody to get a vignette. I don't want everybody to get the same fucking vignette. But Jesus Christ, I want people to be introduced to the roster in a way where people can anticipate them and we get a little bit of a backstory. What did Tegan Nox do on the main roster? Nothing. Nothing. She rode Shotzi's tank a handful of times and she came out and they were challenging for the women's tag team championships at one point. Who the fucking tag team champions at that point? I don't even fucking remember. Natalya and Dana Brooke or Natalya and Tamina? I don't fucking know. Jesus fucking Christ. Weren't they owed a tag team title shot? that they never received? Because they beat the champions one week, and it was a championship contenders match. Then 3 weeks later, they had another championship contenders match, and then they lost. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man. This is garbage. The return could have been so much better. Who is Tegan Nox? Does it add depth to the women's division? Sure. Am I happy to see her back? Surely. But was it executed the right way? No. Now, it's going to be an uphill battle. Candice LeRae's not over. Mia Yim is not over. Tegan Nox is not going to be over. It's going to be a little bit before Tegan Nox gets to that point where she can show that charisma and show that personality to the WWE Universe. And how long that's going to take, I don't fucking know. I mean, we've seen Damage Control or Damaged Goods on the main roster. They don't seem to get any reaction at all when it's Dakota Kai or Io Sky in the ring, and I love both of those women. So what exactly are we doing here that is thumbs up? Stop the pandering and fucking tell the audience exactly what it is. Shit. Could have been done a lot better. Sasha Banks. WWE and Sasha Banks right now held up over a money situation, says Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. They're in contract talks. The last I heard was it was a money situation. That was a long time ago, so I don't know where it stands right now. On November 10th, Solnato Inc., Mercedes Vernato's company, filed trademarks for the following: Mercedes Monet, Monet Talks, Bank Monet, and Statement Maker. The trademark filings have may have indicated that she's ready to move on without WWE if a deal is not reached. So she's got a good backup plan B if nothing seems to work out. Where's she going? AEW? People seem to think she's working with Jade Cargill in AEW. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Of all the things you're going to bring Sasha Banks to do, work with Jade Cargill is one of them? Holy shit. Yeah, good luck with that. Mercedes is a Hall of Famer. What do you expect her to bring out of Jade Cargill? Nothing. Eric Young. He's on his way back to WWE, and this is the last story of the night. Eric Young is on his way back to WWE, as reported by PW Insider. There's no word on what his role will be or when he will start with the company. But his first stint with WWE was back in 2016. It lasted up until 2020. Eric Young led the group Sanity in NXT, capturing the tag team titles in the process down there. The group eventually broke up once after getting called up to the main roster, and Young was demoted to mostly competing on main event. He was released as a result of budget cuts back in April of 2020. Young returned to Impact that same year, making a surprise appearance at their Slammiversary event, winning back the Impact World title. And he created a faction called Violent by Design, which he led almost the entire time of his return. They killed him off on TV not too long ago. Eric Young is going to be an absolute non-factor in anything he does in WWE. He's not going to Monday Night Raw and operating as Eric Young solo. Nobody knows who the fuck Eric Young is in the WWE realm. Nobody cares about Eric Young in the WWE realm. He didn't have a great singles run in WWE to a point where I want to see him back operating as a single. If Triple H has shown us anything, he is getting the band back together. There are trios on the roster, and with trios, there is going to be gang warfare. We need to start thinking about War Games next year. What do you think Triple H is thinking? I don't know if this is the case or not, but I would certainly hope so. Eric Young, Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Nikki Cross back together as Sanity. That is the only way I would accept Eric Young back in the WWE. That was a role that he led, that he was thriving in, a group that he led that was great, that was ultimately dismantled by Vince McMahon. They fucking killed everything about Sanity. Everything. First of all, they took Nikki Cross out of the fucking group. And then they put Killian Dane in a goddamn singlet, and they exposed his hairy chest. And we know what Vince McMahon thinks of men with hairy chests. Give me a fucking break. The guy was absolutely buried on the main roster. Alexander Wolf, forget about it. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Alexander Wolf on the main roster with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon running the show. Jobber to the stars. Triple H is showing you one thing and one thing only. He wants redemption for all those groups that Vince had killed. Sanity was great. There was no reason why they should have been broken up. There's no reason why they should have been changed. They should have been a huge factor on the main roster. Triple H booked them the right way. They had a great fucking entrance. Everything about them was great. Everything. And he's going to bring them back. Hopefully he brings them back, because other than that, I don't really give a fuck about Eric Young back in the... What is Eric Young? How old is Eric Young? 45? How old is he? Eric Young in the... What the fuck is he going to do in the WWE on his own? He's a great promo. He's a great wrestler. He's a great leader. Let's get sanity back together. That's the only reason why I care to see Eric Young back in the WWE. If not, I could not care less about Eric Young back working for Triple H. Anyway, guys, I am done with the news. We got a lot covered today. I hope you appreciated everything that I brought to you today. We're going to go over the Super Chats in just a second. Want to make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up, man. We are a little bit away from 15. Can we get 1,500, man? We're about 150 likes away from 1,500 likes on the post show, on the off the script today, 455 post show. I don't know what fucking day it is, man. We're about 150 likes away from episode 455 getting 1,500 likes, man. Hit that thumbs up. We got 6 channel members tonight. I appreciate you guys. Super Chats, we're going to get to them in just a second. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And make sure you guys check out all the other content on the channel. Yes, the story is there for Alexander Wolf because Imperium kicked him out, yes? Yes. I love it. Let's start at the top, man. Tyler with a $4.99. Ric Flair stated he talked to Sasha and he thinks she's not going to AEW but returning to WWE. Also, do you see Regal as a GM for the main roster? No. I don't see a GM being a thing, but if Triple H wants to separate the rosters, I could see a GM coming back. William Regal on one, Adam Pearce on the other. It depends on what Triple H wants to do, but I would appreciate William Regal in a very minimal role. He was never the focus of NXT being the GM. He only came out when it was absolutely a necessity. If they want to do something like that with him, I'm all for it. Anytime he's on TV, it was always a great pleasure. Nick Williams with a $5 super chat. Honestly, it would feel weird if Triple H ran WWE without Regal. His presence was missing to say War Games. Well, Nick, it looks like we're getting the 2023 version of War Games with William Regal announcing it both for the women and the men. I appreciate you, brother. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Sidro with a $5 super chat. I misplaced Dwayne Johnson's cutting tool for the origami workshop. I can't believe I lost The Rock's paper scissors. Oh, I see what you did there, bro. I see what you did there. I'll give you a little round of applause for that one, bro. Matt, the PW fan, with a $25 super chat. Deanna Perrazzo tweeted at Chelsea Green if she has room for her home. She may be on her way back to WWE. If she does return, I would like to see vignettes of her instead of just throwing her out there. Yeah, you would think. And I did see that tweet. I think she would be a great addition to the WWE Women's Division, man. They're trying to load up that Royal Rumble. They're trying to load up that Royal Rumble because the last year's Women's Royal Rumble was fucking horrendous. It was awful. WWE thinks that giving us half of the active roster in the Royal Rumble and bringing back fucking, I don't know, Molly Holly and Melina is the best way to go about it. No. Active in-ring performers, man. None of these women are there full-time, so none of them should be looked at as a possible winner for the Royal Rumble. I hope she does come back. I do like her a lot. Tyler with a $1.99 super chat. When do you see Rick Boogs returning? Keep it up, JD. Sometime next year, bro. I think he's ready to come back, but I don't know if there's creative plans for Boogs right now. Ronald Sims, thank you for the new membership, brother. What are you drinking tonight? Lord J. Coyle with a $2 super chat. UK super chat. On Friday, I see Alter Bridge. I can't wait. You're going to enjoy yourself immensely, bro. I don't know if you've seen them before, but They are great. Great, great, great live. Yeah, Ivory in the Royal. Give me a fucking break, man. Thank God Vince is gone. Michelle Moran with a $5 super chat. So maybe Punk was right about AEW and working with children. Maybe TK is treating AEW like one of his fantasy wrestling leagues he used to run. Certainly looks like it. Certainly looks like it, Michelle. Brandon James Shea with a 3-month VIP membership. Thank you, brother. Baby Shaq with 7 months. Thank you, guys. What are you drinking tonight in the venue to celebrate? Expand Dong with an Australia $10 super chat. Good day, JD. Listening to the podcast while working. Just had a quick question. If WWE brings back Bronson Reed, do you see them bringing in Shane Thorne and Nick Miller to have TMDK with the other trios? That's a good question, bro. I don't know what they're doing nowadays, Shane Thorne and Nick Miller. But Bronson Reed, I'm all for Bronson Reed returning to the WWE, no question. He's definitely going to be brought back. Michelle Moran with a $5 super chat. If we get a Hell in a Cell match at the Royal Rumble, I hope it's between KO and Roman. Not only would it be a banger match, but it would make sense they are longtime rivals. Yes. And it makes sense just because Roman's already said, that he would have had Roman beat if it were not for the Bloodline. Tyler with a 1 month. Proud to be an OTS family member. I love the OTS family. And how do you feel about Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo being a major tag team in WWE? You rock. I think it would be great, but there's no division. Can't pair these two together and make them a tag team in a division where there's no division. Michael Evans with a 6 months. Hey, JD, getting over the flu this week, but nothing makes me happier than OTS on a Sunday night. Keep being the ace. Always, brother. Thank you so much for 6 months. What the fuck are you drinking? Baby Shaq. $4.99. What's up, JD? Your Spotify playlist is awesome. Also, at Mania 39, Roman Reigns needs 2 title matches at Mania. Cody Rhodes night 1 and The Rock night 2. If Cody is night 1, then he has to beat Roman. Why don't we just flip them? The Rock is not beating Roman. Unless Rock is going to beat Roman for the Universal. Why does Rock need the Universal Championship? Have him beat Roman. Have Roman beat Rock on Saturday, and have Cody win and end the night by beating Roman for the WWE title. Jedi Joke with 18 months. I love AEW. I've been to every Philadelphia show. But come on, man. TK needs to get his shit together and delegate responsibilities. Things don't look good. They don't. Things have not looked good in a long time. Kai Chien with a new membership. And Raymond Moore with 1 month. Hey, JD, had surgery Friday, and my Commanders tied today. It's a good day. And it's awesome to end it with you tonight in California. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you very, very, very much. And I'm sorry about your surgery, man. Hopefully all that went well. And Kai Chen, what are you drinking, brother? Caleb with a new membership. Caleb, what are you drinking? Miles Marable with a 3 months. OTS for life. Thank you, Miles. Raymond Moore with a $4 super chat. Hey, JD, going to SmackDown and Hall of Fame. Want to... Bro, I don't know. Do you believe in the space button, bro? What you're going to the SmackDown? You're going to SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. That's great, bro. That's great. I appreciate the $4 super chat, bro. You need to hit the space bar, bro. In between words, you hit the space bar so you separate the words so it's not all one big run-on sentence. Basic fucking vocabulary, bro, and basic fucking economics here. Miles Marable, the $4.99. JD, if you were to drop a Get Off My TV shirt, who would be on it? Hashtag get him out. That's a good question, brother. I don't know. Ronda Rousey. Easy. Ronda Rousey. Caleb with a $2 super chat. JD, what is the Warriors theme called you have on here? It's by OnLap. It's in the playlist, bro. Click the link in the Spotify playlist. It's there. DJN with a new membership. Thank you, brother. And he also leaves a $10 super chat. Hey, JD, been watching you all year and made the best decision to join the OTS family. Thank you, brother. Love your brutal honesty. Please tell me the title of the first song you played today during the intro. It's an absolute classic. It's called The Watcher by Andy James. It's in my Spotify playlist, bro. MGM Ballin with a $4.99 super chat. AEW shills are becoming just as bad as WWE shills. Wrestle cringe being the cult leader, liking tweets against what you say. Fuck Wrestle cringe, bro. I mean, who cares? It's some fucking... You know, the worst thing I hate about social media, man, is these IWC wrestling accounts that pander to fucking engagement. They pretend like, oh my God, I love pro wrestling. I want to make friends on here and post clips from fucking... I don't give a fuck what happened 12 years ago or 20 years ago, man. I'm about the now. I want my opinion out there. I don't fucking pander to these people. Fuck out of here, man. Like that fucking geek fiending for follows, man. Jeez, what a god-awful account, man. Nauseating. Awful shit. Pandering for likes and pandering for engagement because they have no fucking friends at home. Couldn't be me, bro. Get off social media and go touch some grass or have a drink in my mother's basement. At least at that point, you'll be semi-human. Thank you, DJN. Ballin', thank you so much, brother. Ricardo Linnell with 28 months. I'm drinking Coquito and acknowledging the tribal chief of the IWC. Can't go wrong with some of that, bro. MGM Ballin' with a $4.99. Also, tonight's Yellowstone episode was the best of the season by far. I knew the show would pick up again. Bro, I haven't watched one episode yet. I have to start watching. I've been waiting. I like to binge watch, so. Raisin Brand with a $20 super chat. If they actually have The Rock win the Rumble, then what if they have Cody win the Money in the Bank on night 1 and then cash in on Roman after his match with The Rock on night 2? They're in quite a tough position, honestly. Cody winning money? No, bro. Cody cannot win the world title by cashing in the Money in the Bank. That is not Cody Rhodes, bro. Cody needs to have a full-fledged match and win it. Full-fledged match, full-fledged story, and win the title. No. Khaled with a $2 super chat. That music was Bruce's theme music for Vince Calls. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why that... It did not go off again. I don't know what the fuck that was. Miggy Saito. Thank you, brother. JD, watch out. Bray is targeting you. Haha. What? Bray is targeting me? No, he's not. Bray is not targeting me. In what way is Bray targeting me, bro? No way. Emerald Lord with 8 months. OTS forever. Thank you, brother. 8 months. On your way to getting that 12 months, man. I appreciate you. Jericho with a $20 super chat. They've wanted Rock reign since Roman's first Universal Championship win. If Rock can make Mania this year, we're getting it, no doubt. Also, Bray's been wearing a knee brace lately. He may not be cleared to wrestle yet. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. I hope that's not serious. Oh, the music. Oh. Miggy Saito means the music. Oh, okay. I thought somebody else was talking shit about me on social media. You never know nowadays. Soundwave 80s. With a $9.99, there are a lot of good Atari 2600 games like Asteroids, Berserk, Kaboom, River Raid, and Missile Command. Have you played any of the Atari games before? Yes, I have, but I mean, I haven't played them since... Jesus fucking Christ. 30 years, bro? Over 30 years? Leiwan with a $4.99. I appreciate this channel. It's real, authentic, and it's nothing but facts. My Royal Rumble pick is Shayna Baszler and Cody. Those are good picks, bro. Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes are my choices. Massey with a $4.99. The winner of the Elimination Chamber should face Roman at the Saudi event after WrestleMania. If they go that route, I see Strowman winning. That's a good idea, bro. I mean, if they do one match and Rock wins the Rumble, I could see the Chamber being a Saudi event to challenge Roman. I could see that. Or they could use it as a way for Sami to get exiled from the Bloodline. Chill Vibes with the 20. Thank you, brother. Just showing some love. Thank you, man. LJ, best ever with 17 months. 17 months ago, I was homeless and just at a low point, but the power of OTS is awesome, and now I got my own crib, got a good job, and a hot girlfriend. OTS Fly. The power of off the script, LJ. Look at that. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. Tyler with a $1.99. Do you see Cameron Grimes joining Baron Corbin and JBL? Yes, I do. Not Today Jay with 3 $4.99 super chats. Are the Elite the problem, or is that TK doesn't have control over his own company? I don't know, man. I don't want to think anybody's a fucking problem, but man, there's no structure there from what I see. I may be wrong, but wasn't Triple H and William Regal booking NXT? Yes, they were. So does AEW have a toxic locker room or a toxic leader? I love TK, but he's got to stop being a pushover. Probably a little bit of both. Probably a little bit of both, bro. Fire Marshal Bill with a $4.99. Could have booked a Blackpool Combat Club disbandment angle with Regal's job versus MJF's title. They could have. I thought what they did was very good, and I thought it was very well executed. You don't see a lot of people getting written off television in that manner, man, and not coming back. I thought it was great. Fujin's Henry with an 8 months. Athena is buried. Guys like Miro are nowhere to be found. Guys like Bandito and Juice are being signed. They're not being used. TK needs to go. Get him out. Juice Robinson is challenging Samoa Joe at Final Battle for the TV title. Some build-up to that match, man. Can't wait, right? Some build-up. The Ring of Honor purchase, to me now, I was excited about it at first, but now it seems like a complete waste of fucking money. You just should have bought the tape library, and that is it. That's all you needed. The brand is dead. Nicholas with the 12 months. 1 year in the best podcast. Cheers to another year. Thank you. Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate you, brother. Jerry Ramey with an 18 months. Can't believe it's been 18 months. Here's to another 4, even 10 years, says Jerry Ramey. Oh, my goodness. Joey Clemenza with a new membership and then becomes a 12-month membership. I don't know why YouTube does that. 1 year, baby. I made it. I know I've not been in the venue in a while. Just know this is still the only podcast I listen to in the IWC. Damn right, Joey. Velocifactor with a $1.99. Your 4 future pillars of WWE, men and women. Carmelo Hayes is at the top. I'm not going to give you 4. I'll just give you Carmelo Hayes is my number 1. Braun Breaker's in that list as well. Tony D'Angelo. Von Wagner. Women. It's tough with the women, man. Roxanne Perez is the only one I can actually say. Roxanne Perez is the only one that I can actually say. I do not think that Cora Jade is ready for that discussion yet. She will be, but she's not there yet. Ali with 4 months. Hey, JD, let's say at Royal Rumble when Bray makes his entrance, do you see him coming out with mask? He had it Extreme Rules. I have no idea, Ali. I have no idea. I could not tell you at all. I don't even want to guess about where Bray Wyatt's going to go and where he's going to be at the Royal Rumble. YFNPG with a $4.99. Have the winner of the Royal Rumble main event night 1. Have the Chamber winner main event night 2. Do the same thing for the women, except the fighting, they're fighting to open night 1, night 2. I could see, it's one of the options I brought to the table. I don't know which one they're going to go with. Dirty Dano with a new membership. Thank you, brother. What are you drinking tonight, man? Primo Cologne with 179. JD is the declining 18 to 49 demo for AEW concerning 0.26. Yes, it is very concerning. It is absolutely concerning. That's a terrible, terrible look for AEW, especially with MJF now as the world champion. DJN with a $5 super chat. What do you think if The Rock wins at WrestleMania but vacates both titles so WWE can reset and separate both titles fraternities at a later pay-per-view? It's a possibility. Why do we want to have such a reliance on tournaments, though? Could I see WWE giving The Rock one final title before he retires? Absolutely. It's a possibility. But are we saving Roman Reigns and what he's done for The Rock to beat him after all these years? That's lame. That is fucking lame. I would rather just Roman win and become stronger. Cody Snyder with a $5 super chat. Sheamus had Rhea on his workouts this past Friday. They did arms. It was my back and biceps day, so it helped. P.S. In Punk, I trust. Always. OTS. Thank you, Cody. And Magician Sapphire with a $10 super chat. And Dirty Dano, that's a good one, man. Jack and Coke, you can't go wrong with a good Jack and Coke. Magician Sapphire with a $10 super chat. I can see Regal probably having issues with AEW structure, but I can't see the locker room disrespecting him with guys like Mox, Bryan, Jericho, and FTR not checking them. This does not compute to me. It doesn't compute to me either, man. This is why I really didn't believe it. And this is why I was very careful with my words, if it was true. All the rumors that you heard about them not being a very humble and family-oriented locker room, and it's the Wild Wild West. You don't know. You don't know, man. Anyway, guys, I am about to get out of here. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We're almost at 1,500 likes, man. We're about 60 away from 1,500. Thank you for the super chat love tonight. Thank you for the 7 new members tonight. Very good night. And the next time you'll see me, man, tomorrow night from Monday Night Raw. Another 3 hours of Raw. We'll be right back in the venue. I'm going to have a ton of shorts going out thanks to my boy Tyler. We'll get some shorts out there for you guys tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday. Brand new week of content, man. Thank you guys for a great week. I'm going to need a couple of things from you before I get out of here, man. Number one, I need those ace emojis. I need those rock on emojis. I need those Mustang emojis in the chat. And I need that music on max. I will see you guys tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. Thank you for a great stream. And we'll be live in the venue tomorrow night for the OTS post show right after Monday Night Raw. I'll see you guys later.